A service of KIBMradio.com, the Internet's home for an all-old-time radio.
And now, Backstage Wife, the story of Mary Noble and what it means to be the wife of a famous star. Direct from the triumph of the lead in a smash hit on Broadway, Larry Noble, well-known Broadway actor, is plunged into the horror of a murder charge and now awaits trial in the New York City jail. The police say that Larry strung the young fortune hunter Oliver Wilson up by a rope in the wings of the Hamilton Theater where Larry was starring in a play. He did this, the police charge, when he learned that the handsome young ne'er-do-well had secretly married Claudia Vincent, with whom Larry is rumored to be in love. Larry's wife, Mary, has stood loyally by, wanting only her husband's acquittal. Right now, she's riding on a subway train in New York after a visit to the jail. As she sits facing the row of indifferent passengers opposite her, her thoughts take charge.
I wonder why Larry asked me about Claudia Vincent today. Why did he seem so concerned because he hasn't heard from her? Can it possibly mean that he really is in love with her? That this infatuation is stronger than his will? If I believe that, then it could follow that he did kill. No, I've got to stop thinking such thoughts. I've got to believe. Only the first stop. How many is it? I ought to know them by heart by this time. I've ridden back and forth on the subway between the jail and my hotel often enough, heaven knows. Except for the 2 times Rupert Barlow sent me in his car. But that won't happen again. I've told Rupert I won't see him anymore. How hurt he looked. And I can't blame him. How can I explain that Larry mistrusts everything about him? Even though Rupert has always been generous. When he put money in Larry's last Broadway play. And when Rupert persuaded the best defense lawyer in the state to take Larry's case. It does seem poor reward for his kindness to have Larry refuse to accept his lawyer. And now to refuse even to let me be civil to Rupert. There's nothing I can do. Not as long as Larry's voice keeps saying...
Keep away from Rupert Barlow, Mary. Do you hear? Keep away from him. Or else.
Mary wouldn't be so sure of Rupert Barlow's good intentions if she had heard the telephone conversation several minutes ago in Rupert's New York apartment. When Victor, his chauffeur, called to say...
Hey, boss, Mrs. Noble just left the jail. She's on her way uptown on the subway. It's a local train, so she ought to be about 20 minutes if she gets off at a regular stop. Now, you better get over there quick if you want to get another newspaper shot of her and you together. I'm calling the guy with the camera right now.
But Mary Noble doesn't realize that Rupert Barlow is determined at all costs to bring about a romantic response in her, even though he has so far been unsuccessful. And now, as Rupert gets out of a taxi on the corner indicated.
Okay, driver, keep the change. I'm in a hurry.
Rupert heads for the subway entrance as he thinks...
I couldn't have missed her. It's less than 10 minutes since Victor called. Where the devil is that fellow with the camera? If he doesn't show up... Oh, there he is. Good. I'll give him a nod and run downstairs where I can watch both exits. Great place to spend the day, in a subway entrance. Just because Mary Noble pays more attention to Larry, that actor husband of hers, than she does to me. All he has to do is tell her to keep away from me, and she obeys like a trained dog. And after all the trouble I've taken. To think that I'd ever run after any woman, instead of having them run after me. Confound it, this is different. This has got into my blood. It's an obsession. I've never been beaten at anything in my life, and I won't start now. If Mary won't leave her husband of her own free will, I'll fix it so Larry throws her out. Then she'll come to me, all right. On my terms.
And as this self-centered playboy paces anxiously up and down the subway entrance, wondering if Mary Noble will arrive at her usual station, we find Larry Noble in the visiting room of the New York City jail talking to Maud Marlowe, character actress and close family friend.
It's good of you to come here like this, Maud. When I know how busy you are with rehearsals of your new play.
Well, we're not rehearsing this afternoon, Larry. They're working on the set, so I thought I'd see if they'd let me talk to you.
Oh, that's swell. How's the play coming along?
Oh, I don't know. Right now I'm too close to it to have any judgment.
Gee, I'd give a lot to see you on opening night, Maud.
Well, there's no one I'd rather have across the footlights.
Probably won't ever see the play at all.
Oh, Larry. Now, why do you say that? You don't think we're going to fold so soon, do you? My big chance to star once more? Well, it's probably my last chance.
Nonsense, Maud. You've got lots of hits coming up.
Don't try to kid an old warhorse, Larry. There aren't many plays written to star an aging character actress. No, I'll be lucky if I can get bits after this.
I'd give a lot just to have a walk-on part right now.
Oh, of course you would, Larry. But you'll be back on Broadway again. I know that. I'm confident you'll get out of this wretched injustice.
Thanks again. As a matter of fact, I've been having a surge of confidence myself these past few days.
Oh, I'm glad to hear it, Larry.
I guess it's mostly because of my wife, Mary.
That's even better.
Poor kid. This business of me being held in jail on a murder charge has been awfully rough on her, Maud.
Well, of course. It's awful for both of you, Larry. I rather thought I might find Mary here when I arrived at the jail. She wasn't at the hotel where she's living.
No, she's been here, Maud.
Oh?
She just left a few minutes before you got in. Oh, it's great to have her so close by. You don't know what it does for me, having her pop in every little while.
Well, I think I know, Larry. I haven't lived with you two at your home out in Rosehaven, Long Island, for so many months without knowing a little bit about you.
Wouldn't it be great if we were all back there right now, in our house in Rosehaven?
You will be, Larry. Probably sooner than you think.
I think about the house more than you'd believe. I can see every room as clearly as though it were etched on my mind. The living room with the big glass windows right down to the floor. Sun streaming in from the terrace. My own leather chair by the fireplace.
Poor Larry. This isn't much of a substitute for that lovely house, is it?
You're darn right it isn't, Maud. Maybe you don't really appreciate anything until you're threatened with losing it. I guess I'm like the average guy, taking things for granted. I know I haven't given Mary half the praise or encouragement she deserves.
Oh, I wouldn't say that. Mary's been very happy with you, dear, for all the years of your married life.
She's been the most wonderful wife a man could have. What a rotten break this is for Mary. Even if I do get out of it, what do you think will happen to my career in the theater?
Well, I don't see why anything at all should happen, Larry. After all, you're one of the most famous actors on the New York stage.
Oh, come on, Maud. You know better than that. Do you think anyone's going to sign me up for a big play after this mess I've got into?
Well, of course they will, Larry.
I wish I could believe that.
Now, don't go looking for any more troubles than you already have, Larry Noble.
You're right, Maud. Why should I pour out all this gloom when you're here? It's pretty rotten of me, isn't it?
No, I didn't mean that. Now, you know I didn't.
And anyhow, I shouldn't be complaining. Not when I have Mary standing by. She's so wonderful, Maud.
Well, of course she is.
She's really grand. I feel like a dog for kicking up such a row about Mary seeing Rupert Barlow.
I don't know about that, Larry.
Oh, it was pretty high-handed of me to give her that do what I say or else stuff.
And yet, when it comes to Rupert Barlow, he's very wealthy and has his eye on Mary.
Yes, I still feel I'm right about him. He's not to be trusted for a second. He's made a life's work of attracting women. And I know darn well he's crazy about Mary.
I wouldn't argue with you about that.
Not that I blame him. As a matter of fact, I wouldn't blame her if she had fallen for him. He's a handsome devil and no mistake. He's got more money than he can count.
He's a complete scoundrel, Larry, and you know it. He couldn't make any woman in this world happy.
Well, it doesn't matter anymore. I'll admit it had me pretty wild when Mary told me how he was hanging around. But that's all over and done with.
Oh, is it?
Yes, sure. She told me just before she left here that she promised not to see him again at all.
Oh, I see. Well, suppose she should change her mind. I mean, just see him casually once in a while.
Oh, she won't, Maud. She promised. She wouldn't go back on her word. She never has. If she did, I'd lose all confidence in anyone.
Well, I must go, Larry. I have to get back to my hotel.
Maud Marlowe gets up so abruptly that Larry Noble is startled. She prepares to go, remembering that the desk clerk at the Little West Side Hotel, where she and Mary Noble are now staying, told her that only an hour or two ago, Mary had left the place with Rupert Barlow. Well, be sure to be listening tomorrow to Backstage Wife, the story of Mary Noble and her husband Larry Noble, famous Broadway star.
In just a moment, X-1. But first, some of the funniest situations you've ever witnessed occur every Wednesday night when the devilish imagination of MC Jack Bailey sets to work on NBC's Truth or Consequences. You won't believe it until you hear it, so listen in tomorrow. Then another laugh session is in store later on with the wise and witty Groucho Marx as he and contestants play You Bet Your Life. While for the melodic note in your Wednesday evening schedule, it's music and fun on Airtime with Giselle McKenzie. And now, stay tuned for X-1 on NBC. Countdown for blast off. X-5, 4, 3, 2, X-1, fire. From the far horizons of the unknown come transcribed tales of new dimensions in time and space. These are stories of the future, adventures in which you'll live in a million, could be years, on 1,000 maybe worlds. The National Broadcasting Company, in cooperation with Galaxy's science fiction magazine, presents X-1. Tonight, Hallucination Orbit by J.T. McIntosh.
Mr. Chaka.
Sir?
Stand by to release pickup rocket.
Yes, sir.
We'll break orbit in 8 hours, have damage control pull the rods on the number 3 pile, check leakage.
Yes, sir.
Try and have the locks cleared of all unessential personnel when that pickup rocket comes back. There's no point in making trouble.
I understand, sir. Pickup rocket away, sir.
Very well. Take over, Mr. Chaka. I will be in my quarters if I'm wanted. Well, now then, Mr. Danbury, make yourself comfortable.
Why, thank you, Captain.
You care for a drink? Scotch in that bulb, bourbon in the other.
No, thank you. I can't get quite used to squirting liquor from a rubber bulb as if I were oiling a dairy.
Well, you'd have a devil of a time pouring from a bottle in free fall. Well, how are you enjoying your trip?
Very interesting. It's very nice of you to give me a lift. You know, it would have been 8 months before another ship came along.
A whole lot more than that with the main Pluto beam station out. Probably 8 years.
Really? That long? I thought the whole run to Pluto was under 18 months.
Yes, it is when the beam is running. See, Mr. Danbury, we left Earth 27 days after the beam broadcast from Pluto station broke. We've been spaceborne close to 6 years.
I suppose that's why you're on orbit around this planet, picking up supplies or something, eh?
Oh. This is a standard pickup for the space beam service. We sent a rocket down to take off a man who's been the only inhabitant of this planet for a little over 2 years.
Well, I expect he'll be glad to see you.
Well, there's no telling.
I know I would.
After 2 years of duty, Mr. Danbury, you might not know anything.
Oh, psychiatric troubles?
Solitosis. It's from the Latin, solus, alone.
Is that much of a problem?
Only in space. Here, look. Look through that port.
Seems empty.
It is. It's empty of horizon, sky, sunlight, ground. It's empty of time. It's empty of people. You can't live in it too long without something happening.
I see. But surely people have been alone before spaceflight.
Oh, yes, but they have been on the same world with other people. And that seems to make a difference. You take a hermit on Earth, he may spend his life trying to escape civilization. Put him on a deserted world, he turns psychotic.
Is there a cure?
Oh, sure. Put him back with people. At least about 40 people. That seems to be the critical number. See, I have 48 in this ship's complement. I could run her with about 18. But if I tried to, I'd have psychos on my hands 6 months after blastoff.
But then every one of these men on the beam stations, they're all alone, aren't they?
That's right.
Well, then they must get it.
They do. It wouldn't pay to leave more than 40 men on a space station. And less than 40 is too dangerous. Solitosis can be homicidal. So they leave one man. Now, he gets it all right. But you can snap him out of it just by taking him back to Earth. That's why I like to have as few people as possible around when the pickup ship comes back. It can be pretty unpleasant.
What are they like? How does it affect them?
Well, so far, I've picked up about 28 space station officers. I've seen 28 different sets of symptoms. I wouldn't want the job of getting those guys out of their stations and into that pickup rocket. Captain here.
Pickup rocket. Signaling, sir.
All right, Mr. Chalker, prepare to receive the pickup. Alert the psychiatric staff, and I'll be right there. Would you care to see them bring them in, Mr. Danbury? You're welcome if you have a strong stomach.
I don't think so, thank you.
All right. Mr. Chalker, as soon as the rocket is secured, make a trajectory for the next station.
Yes, sir. That's Pluto Station 3.
Carry on. Oh. Pluto Station 3. That will be a honey of a job. He has been on that lump of rock all by himself for close to 6.5 years.
Pluto Station 3, Daily Report. Colin Ord, Space Officer. Everything is in fine shape. Through my port, I can see Mars, Earth, Saturn, Mercury. That little devil, he's hiding behind the sun. He's been quite furtive lately. Why I'm required to record this report every day escapes me, because it's quite obvious to any empty-headed brass hat at the central office that not a word of this has been worth the tape it's been recorded on for the last 5.5 years. But if it amuses you gentlemen to hear me wander, after all, you are paying for the tape. Which gives me a fine thought. I'm going to set the pickups through the whole station and leave the tape running. That'll give you a daily report all day, so keep on listening. Right now, I have the distinct impression that Earth is winking at me. A rather suggestive, lewd wink.
It helps to see the planets, doesn't it?
Oh, I thought you were reading.
I was. You know, if you hadn't been able to see the planets, you would have been a straitjacket case long ago.
Well, who knows I'm not one now? You don't, anyway.
Well, I think that so long as you talk sanely about madness, you can't be so far gone. It's out there somewhere, isn't it? The rescue ship.
Somewhere.
How long now, Colin? Where could they be now if they started whenever the beam failed?
I haven't worked it out since the last time you asked, but they could be very close.
Well, if the beam hadn't failed, they would have been here long ago, wouldn't they?
Oh, sure. 11 months with the beam, over 6 years without it. Well, anyway, that triple times 6 years' pay adds up to quite a pile.
You'll be set up for life when you get back to Earth, won't you? And at 29.
I'll be rotten with money.
Oh, well. It's been nice knowing you.
That's because of the others before you. I've learned a lot.
Never talk of the others. And above all, never talk of any others to come.
I'm sorry.
Would you like to play chess? It's a long time since we did.
I don't think so, not anymore. I'm a little tired of chess.
Oh, I know. I understand. I won't bother you. I'll go to my room, Colin.
Well, don't get upset.
I'm not. I understand. You're just tired of chess.
You still listening, gentlemen? That last few minutes might have been a little confusing. You'd like to know who I was talking to, wouldn't you? I'm afraid you can't hear her on the tape. That's Una. And I'll tell you what she looks like. You might find it interesting. She's beautiful, but rather cool. She always wears a white shirt and sharp, creased green slacks. She's got a good figure, but in a calm sort of way. She plays a good game of chess, although I beat her 2 out of 3 times. Of course, you know why you can't hear her on the tape. But I still know, too. That's a point in my favor, isn't it? That brings up an interesting question, gentlemen, because I'm tired of Una. I'm beginning to find her a long, cool, slightly unappealing bore. My problem is how to get rid of her. I can't just tell her to vanish. She's a little too real for that. I dreamed up a ship to bring her. I'll have to find another to take her away. Well, I might as well get to it. Oh, no. No, I'm not going to bother about the ship. It's too much mental effort. I'd have to think up everything I saw, and frankly, gentlemen, I'm too tired. Maybe she'll take the hint. A lot of them did. Susie did. And Alice. Oh. I remember Margie. There was a girl. A load of bricks had to fall on her head. Took me 4 weeks to get rid of her. No. Let Una figure her own way to get off the station. Well, she's gone. I thought she might. Her ship's gone, too. Well, all in all, I don't think Una was really very satisfactory. One of these days I'll start believing in them, and I'll be really gone. Well, if I activate the main screens now, I'll see a ship coming in to land pretty soon. Every once in a while I have a thought that when the ship really comes, I'll think it's make-believe. Yes, there it is. A small ship curving in for a landing. I suppose I could check on the detectors. I know they register anybody within 100,000 miles, but I don't bother checking them anymore because someday the moment will come when I check the detectors, and I'll see just what I want to see. Well, the ship's coming in for a landing now. I'll go out to meet it. I'm rather interested to find out what the explanation will be for the girl. Naturally, it will be a girl. It's all right. You can take your helmet off. The air's all right in here.
You must be Baker.
Oh, good heavens, no. Baker was before me here. You can't be one of his dreams 7 years late. I'm Ord, Colin Ord.
Before we go any further, just how does halitosis affect you?
Well, that's new. None of them ever asked that before. It makes me see things that aren't there.
And you know there's nothing there?
Sometimes.
Do you know I'm here?
I'm making a point of not wondering about it.
Well, one thing you can be sure of. This. Do you see this? This is a gun. I just want you to know I'm not heaven's little gift to lonely space station officers. Is that clear?
Oh, yes. Yes. What's your name?
Elsa Cutterline. You want to know why I'm here, of course.
Not particularly.
What?
Well, that's always the weakest part of the story. I don't like to press it. Why don't you, take off your space suit?
I'll tell you why, just the same. I killed a man. Why and how doesn't matter. I had access to an experimental ship. I thought if I disappeared for about 2 years...
Oh, please don't labor over it. I'm not asking questions.
Why not?
Well, when we get around to it, I would be interested in the story you can concoct for being dressed like the cover of a magazine story in rather minimal clothing. It's been years since I thought up anything like that. You must be a throwback.
What are you talking about?
You know, you're going to have a tough time with that gun when you get tired of holding it. It's a heavy gun. How long do you think it'll be before I take it from you? After all, you have to sleep. There's no door in the station you can lock that I can't get in.
I know. I just wanted to make sure you weren't violent. I think I can get on with you, Ord.
Yes, I see. The question is, my dear, whether you're real or not.
Well, don't I look real?
Oh, yes, but that doesn't prove anything. As a matter of fact, the realer you look, the worse off I might be. But then there still is the remote possibility that you might actually have killed someone and decided to hide out on a space station. Shall I tell you something else, Elsa?
What?
I'm suddenly tired of the whole business. Breathes there a man with soul so dead, I'm sure you know the rest of it. I would suddenly like to have enough people around me so that I could be sane. I would like to find women as part of life instead of having them pop up here from the depths of my rather pornographic subconscious. But you've shaken me, Elsa. 24 hours ago, I was congratulating myself that solitosis hadn't really gotten me. But now I don't know.
Just don't try anything funny, or you'll find out whether I'm real. The hard way.
Any way is the hard way. First, I'll go out and have a look at your ship. £14 per square inch air. Heat. Now, I take a gasoline lighter. There, the flame lights. But on the other hand, if there was no lighter and I see it, I could also see it burn when there isn't any air. As a matter of fact, how do I know that I can read a meter for air pressure? And now that I look again quickly, I find I haven't got a lighter in my hand, and as a matter of fact, the pressure meter reads 0. There's no air on this ship. As a matter of fact, there isn't any ship. Elsa is no more real than Una. All right, Colin, old boy, sit here and concentrate for about 15 minutes, and you'll be able to walk through the walls of the ship.
Well, what did you find out there?
You'd better leave. It was a mistake your coming here. I'm sorry.
No, don't come any closer to me.
Put down the gun.
Keep back. I'm warning you. Keep back.
You see, it's no use. Oh, you're a good shot. You got me right between the eyes, but I couldn't feel a thing. I can't let myself be shot now, can I? Give that to me. There. Now remember, if you shoot me, nothing happens. But if I shoot you, you die. Do you know that?
Yes, I know that.
I'll give you about 20 minutes to get that overstuffed figure back into that spacesuit and get off my planet. Frankly, I'm getting tired of hallucinations. Tired.
Give me back my gun.
No. I'll keep that. After a while, I'll put it in a drawer. It'll stay there until I forget it. Then there won't be any gun anymore. From now on, my overblown figment, there will be no more Elsas or Susies or Margies. I am not going to give in to solitosis. Maybe I'll bring Una back. At least she could play chess. Pluto Station 3, Daily Report, Colin Ord, Space Officer. Gentlemen, I have successfully fought off solitosis for 2 days, and I have been alone. However, I'm afraid I'll lose as I watch my main scope now. I see a ship coming in again. I wonder what this one will be like. It's a launch from a larger spaceship. Maybe a lifeboat. Dorothy came in a lifeboat. I wonder what this one will be like. I've got to find out when she comes whether she's real. That's the key, as long as I know if she's real. When I don't care anymore, that's when it's really got me. The ship's down now. There she comes out of the airlock. I've got to find out whether she's real.
Colin Ord.
That's right.
I'm Dr. Lynn of Four Star Line. Marilyn Lynn.
Oh, well, very pretty. You going to tell me your story now, or do I have to wait?
I'm not going to tell you anything till I've found out a little more about you.
Well, you're an improvement on the last one. At least you're young and beautiful, and you're not fantastic, and you look intelligent.
What do you mean?
Don't worry about me. I see things that aren't there. Particularly people.
Oh, so you don't believe I'm here?
Would you? If you were me?
Do you know I'm not here?
No, that comes with time. At least it always has so far.
You mean you've always proved to yourself that your visitors were mere fantasy?
With a struggle.
Interesting. Controlled solitosis. I never heard of it before. It's a pleasure to meet you, Mr. Ord.
No, that doesn't make you real. They all say that.
Why should I want to make you accept me as real?
I don't know. But they all do.
When will you know?
Oh, I can't say. Maybe in 5 minutes. Maybe not for hours.
How do you do it? You don't shoot me to see if I die or anything like that, do you?
No, nothing like that. If I shoot you, you do die, like the witches in history. They'd die if they were, and they'd die if they weren't.
Your mind has remained agile enough.
Naturally. I never heard of solitosis inhibiting intelligence. Would you like some coffee?
Is that part of the test? Whether more coffee is actually drunk than you drink yourself?
No, that doesn't help. It would be very easy for me to make half what I thought I made, to fill a cup with nothing and pass it back. You look afraid.
Why should I be?
What am I doing? Am I doing something I don't know I'm doing?
No. Would you like me to wash the cups for you when we're done?
That won't prove anything. Next time they were used, I could just imagine they were washed, couldn't I?
Where are you going?
To find out if you're real.
My ship. Go ahead. Good luck.
What's she afraid about? Something I said. None of the others were really afraid of me. I can't tell yet. Nothing's happened. The meters all read 15 pounds to the square inch air pressure, but that's no good. I can't tell if I'm reading them at all. Oh. Well, the wall's solid enough. My hand hurts. That doesn't prove anything. Supposing I open my faceplate. If there's no ship and no air... All right, my faceplate's open. I'm breathing air. But then again, on the other hand, my faceplate may still be closed. Maybe I only think it's open. I can't tell. I can't tell that she isn't real. That means it's finally gotten me. It gets everyone. I don't really know if anything's real, if I'm real, if this space station is real, the planet, the universe, the galaxy. Maybe all life is in my mind. I think. Therefore I am. Yes, I remember that from school. Oh, I'm tired. I've got to get back to the station. Very tired. Close my faceplate, if I ever opened it. Get back to the station. Got a headache. Terrible headache. I'm very tired.
Are you all right now? Here, drink this.
What happened?
You came in the station lock and passed out.
How long have I been out?
About 24 hours. You're a very sick man, Mr. Ord.
Reality. Very important thing, isn't it? It's the most important thing there is to learn.
Merely to you. Solitosis naturally affects what matters most to the individual, but we needn't talk about that.
But I know now. You're not real. You can't be, even though I feel you are.
How did you decide that?
I couldn't prove you weren't, not on your ship. I'm too far gone to figure out any test that'll work. But if you are real, then how did you avoid solitosis?
The only way there is. There are 48 men and women in the relief ship that's in orbit around your planet right now. I came down in the pickup rocket. We have well above the critical number of people. I keep rational by knowing they're up there in the orbit, and as soon as I'm ready, I'll take you back up there.
Well, I suppose I can wait. I don't really care if you're real or not anymore.
I know. It'll take a long while before you care.
You sound sad. What's the matter?
It's the way you look at me.
What do you mean?
What do you see when you look at me?
Well, you're strong. Sort of quietly beautiful. About my age. You're wearing a tunic and slacks. And you don't have a wedding ring. I noticed that.
That's what I thought you saw. I'm real, but not your picture of me. I'm a doctor, Mr. Ord. All first contacts with station officers are made by trained psychiatrists. I'm a doctor. And I was a girl once. But that was 40 years ago. I'm 66.
You can't be.
Oh, yes. It was very nice to be a girl again. I could see myself in your eyes, and I almost felt young again. As I grow old in the next few weeks, Mr. Ord, you will be recovering.
Now stay tuned for X-1 on NBC. Countdown for blast off. X-5, 4, 3, 2, X-1, fire. From the far horizons of the unknown come transcribed tales of new dimensions in time and space. These are stories of the future, adventures in which you'll live in a million could-be years on 1,000 maybe worlds. The National Broadcasting Company, in cooperation with Galaxy's science fiction magazine, presents X-1. Tonight, The Defenders, based on a story by Philip Dick.
And now we bring you a special film of the destruction of San Francisco by radioactive pellets, released this week by robots of the Asian Confederation. This bombing was televised by robot cameramen of the Western Confederation as it took place. What you are about to see is a rebroadcast. Here you see the heroic robots, the Leadys, who defended San Francisco against the dastardly attack. Of course, since all human life has been under the surface of Earth for 16 years, there was no actual loss of life in the sense we know it. Still, the vicious destruction of Western Leadys by this sneak attack by Asian robots.
The surface war. The surface war, that's all we hear. It's all everybody works for. 90 cents out of every dollar goes for the surface war. Every man, woman, and child is either inventing new weapons or manufacturing robots to fight for us or taking care of the people who are doing the inventing or manufacturing.
Mary, take it easy.
Oh, I'm sorry, Dad.
Maybe you've been working too hard at the university.
Maybe.
How's the study coming?
All right.
Colonel Moss was asking about it only today over at Supreme Headquarters.
I'm still working.
Mary, you haven't mentioned the enemy much.
Oh, what's there to say?
Well, is he as hateful as ever?
He hasn't been feeling well.
Pity. I hope he doesn't die. After all, he's the only living captive member of the Asian Confederation. How old is he, by the way?
34.
Oh, you're joking, of course.
No.
Mary, Western society only moved under the surface of the Earth some 16 years ago. Now, that would mean that the enemy was captured when he was only a boy.
Yes.
He told you this?
Oh, no, he tells everyone he's 42. I deduced it from inconsistencies in his statements.
Well, that's a little dangerous, isn't it?
Well, you're the only one I've told, Dad.
I wish you wouldn't even tell me these things.
Do you expect your friend Colonel Moss to pop out from under the bed?
Now you're being facetious. It's no laughing matter, Mary. The whole concept of the enemy is so charged emotionally...
And so full of lies.
Mary!
It's true. I've been talking to him for 6 months now. He's just an ordinary young man who happens to have had the bad luck to come to symbolize every hated thing we fight against.
I've heard him speak. He is hateful.
He knows what to say if he wants to keep alive.
Mary, I won't hear any more of this.
Oh, I'm sorry, Dad. I suppose it doesn't serve any useful purpose.
It isn't that. I'm thinking of your own safety. If remarks like this were overheard, do you know what they do to traitors?
I've heard they turn them over to the leadys.
They're taken up to the surface. As they approach it, the radioactivity begins to destroy them. And by the time they reach the top...
I'll be careful.
Good. Now then, why don't we stop this morbid talk? How about turning on some music,
All right. Dad?
Yes?
What was it like?
What?
On the surface.
Don't you remember?
Mm-mm.
Oh, no, of course not. You were only about 6 at the time. Well, it's best not to talk about it too much.
Tell me, Dad, please.
Well, it was quite different from living underground. We lived in a valley, your mother and you and I. There were pretty farms along the floor of the valley, little white houses and green fields and trees.
Oh, and there were birds.
Yes. I'm afraid the birds are extinct now.
It must have been hard for you those first years underground.
It wasn't pleasant. But I had my work at the War Institute. There was so much to be done then, building the leadys to take over the surface war, designing the pneumatic tubes to get supplies and weapons up to the robots, organizing the robot councils on the surface, and, of course, the constant fight against radiation leakage. We're still working on that one.
I wonder what my life would have been like if it hadn't happened. About all I know is metal walls and great roaring factories and barracks.
Nobody wants to live this way, my dear. We have to. Someday, when the enemy's defeated...
What makes you think he'll be defeated? The Asians are just as secure underground as we are.
When our leadys conquer theirs...
Dad.
What is it?
Dad, the enemy, the one I've been interviewing.
I thought we weren't discussing him.
He mentioned a word to me.
A word?
Yes. It seems to me that I heard it before when I was a little girl.
It's best to forget these things.
No, I don't know what it means. It might even be a bad word, but I have to ask you.
I'd rather not.
Please?
Well?
The word was peace. Oh, Dad, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to shock you. I think I'll go up to my room. I have to get up early. I'm taping an interview with the enemy. Excuse me.
Get me the Director of Internal Security.
Yes?
Moss, this is Donald Taylor.
Yes, Donald.
It's about my daughter.
Mary?
Yes. She's been working with the enemy, as you know, compiling a new study.
Yes?
I'm afraid from some of the things he's told her that he may not be completely sane.
Oh?
I thought perhaps you might, supervise their relationship a little more. After all, she's been spending almost 6 months in his company, several hours a day.
I see what you mean.
Now, I don't mean to suggest that anything has happened already. Her attitude's...
Don't concern yourself about it. Everything will be handled discreetly.
The enemy is waiting inside, Miss Taylor.
Good. Is the recording and filming equipment ready to go?
All checked and ready.
You've checked the restraint suit on the prisoner?
Yes, miss.
You may leave us alone.
Just buzz when you want me, Miss Taylor.
I will. Thank you, guard. Hello, hateful one.
Hello, beloved.
How are you?
Feeling no pain?
I thought about you last night. I talked to Father.
Be careful.
Oh, it's all right.
Oh, this can't go on, Mary. Sooner or later, someone will suspect.
I don't care. I love you.
Mary. Well, you'd better get something on tape. If anyone comes in.
All right. Tape number 425X. Subject, recorded interview with captive ZN2. Former soldier of the Asian Confederation and enemy of the Western Confederation.
I'm Joseph Kali, serial number ZN2, former soldier of the Asian Confederation.
What were you taught to believe concerning the people of the Western Confederation?
I hate them with all my heart. They are inhuman and to be destroyed.
What is your objective?
It is the objective of my people to enslave all members of the Western Confederation and to utilize them for the benefit of the masters of the Asian Confederation.
Did you ever witness any murder of members of the Western Confederation?
I was a pilot in a group which dropped radioactive dust on women and children who were preparing to be evacuated underground. I myself killed some 15,000.
We will discontinue the interview to check the quality of the recordings. And to kiss the lips of the captive from the Asian Confederation. Oh, Joseph, I can't tell you how it pains me to hear you mouthing this stuff.
It keeps me alive.
If there were only some way to escape, some place to go.
The surface is the only place to go. And the radioactivity kills you in 40 minutes with the thickest lead suit.
Sometimes I think even 40 minutes of freedom would be worth it.
40 minutes of pain?
If that's the price, then
For myself, I wouldn't care. But for you, Mary.
If there were a way to reach the surface...
There is.
Colonel Moss.
This has been, I must say, a most interesting interview to hear.
You heard it.
From the beginning. We had the room wired this morning.
Then you know.
Yes.
What's going to happen to us?
To you, nothing. Because of my friendship for your father and your own youth. We will simply require that you remain silent about anything that has happened.
And Joseph?
The enemy will be handed over to a D-class leady at the mouth of the tube and taken to the surface. We will perform the entire operation with a ceremony and a public announcement.
He'll die.
Precisely.
No. Please.
Now, you'd better go. Your father is waiting outside.
Joseph.
Mary, do as he says.
Joseph, I love you.
Take her out.
Please let me say goodbye to him.
Remove her.
Joseph, please. Please let me stay, please. Father?
Yes?
Did you talk to Colonel Moss?
Yes.
And?
He'll permit you to come along and watch the ceremony, provided...
Provided?
There's no display of any sort. And, of course, a public denouncement of the whole matter. He's prepared a statement to the effect that the enemy tried to dupe you, that he used hypnosis, etc., etc. Well?
I'll sign it.
The ceremony is at the foot of the tube tomorrow morning at 6. At that hour, the enemy will be handed over to a D-class leady, which is being brought down from the surface. Remember your promise.
Details! Halt! The prisoner is ready to be turned over, sir.
Is the robot here?
The robot is arriving now.
I'll give the orders. I wish to converse with it.
Yes, sir. The robot has landed at the foot of the tube, sir.
Switch on the intercom. Robot.
Robot N71.
Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
We have a prisoner to turn over. He is to be taken to the surface and destroyed.
Yes, sir.
Before we send him into the radiation lock, there are a few questions the military would like to have answered.
Yes, sir.
How is the war going on the surface?
The war continues. We are a little short of fast pursuit craft, the single-seat type.
It will be noted.
Our missiles pounded the Euro munitions plant of the Asian robot team last night with good results.
Excellent. Are you ready to receive the prisoner?
I am ready.
I must warn all observers to remain behind the lead wall when the radiation lock opens. A few seconds' exposure to a hot leady is enough to cause serious damage. Prisoner, step forward.
Father.
Steady, Mary. Remember your promise?
Yes. Is he?
He's there.
Oh, if I could only see him alone a minute.
It's out of the question. Keep well behind the lead wall.
Ready?
Ready, Colonel.
Open the lock. Step into the lock, prisoner.
He's in with the leady. You can almost feel the radiation. By now, he's as good as dead.
Lower the door.
No! Wait! Joseph! Joseph!
Mary, come back! Hold the door! Mary! Robert! Remove the woman and take the prisoner to the surface. Hurry! She'll be burned to death. Don't go out there. The lady is pushing around. Close the lock! Mary! Sergeant! Get a technician in a radiation suit to pick her up. Have her shielded and brought to the decontaminating chamber.
Yes, sir.
My daughter. You'd better get into a lead suit, Donald. We'll see what we can do to save her.
How is she? Bad?
I don't understand it.
What's wrong?
She's cold. Not a trace of radiation.
You mean the leady wasn't radioactive?
It's impossible. Those robots are exposed to enough radiation in an hour to kill a regiment.
Well, could the counter be defective?
I checked it. No, it must be some freak. Somehow she avoided exposure to the rays. Yeah, you're a very lucky man, Professor.
Can I see her?
Yes. Go in.
Thank you. Mary.
Hello, Dad.
Did they tell you you're going to be all right?
Yes.
Well, you don't seem overjoyed.
Should I be?
You really care for this murder of women and children?
Dad, for the last time, Joseph never murdered any women and children. He confessed to those crimes to keep alive.
Well, we won't discuss it. You're safe. That's all that matters.
Was he taken up?
Yes. By now, he's gone.
I don't believe it.
Mary.
I don't believe it. Somehow, deep inside me, I know he's alive. Somehow, I knew that leady wasn't radioactive.
That leady. Yes, that's puzzling. We'll have to investigate that. I'm going to send an order to the surface asking that the same leady be sent down again. There's something very strange about the whole business.
The tube is arriving with the leady as you requested, Professor.
Good. I'm going in to examine
it. Isn't that dangerous, even with the suit on, sir?
It won't take me long.
Very well. He's reached bottom.
Open the lock.
Father.
Hold it. Mary, what are you doing here in a radiation suit?
This is the same leady, isn't it?
Yes. I was just going in to examine it.
I want to go with you.
Why?
This is the leady that took Joseph up. I want to speak to it and find out.
Now, Mary, why torture yourself?
It's more torture this way. I have to know. If he's alive or dead, I have to know.
He's dead.
The leady will know. Please, Father, please.
Very well. Close your helmet. Open the lock, guard.
Ready, Mary?
Ready.
Let's go in.
the prisoner to the surface this morning?
Yes.
Is he?
He is dead. The radiation killed him before he reached the surface.
Oh, no. Steady, Mary. Robert.
Sir?
You accompanied him to the surface?
Yes.
You've been exposed.
I've fought in 3 battles.
Then explain something.
Sir?
According to a counter I have concealed in my suit, you're cold. Not a trace of radioactivation. How do you explain this? Well? Answer me. That's an order.
I must return to the surface.
Not till you answer me.
I must return to continue fighting the war. Do not attempt to stop me.
Daddy has a ray gun.
Look out! Keep back. I've shorted him with the metal counter. He'll be burned out in a second. That was close.
I thought these robots were unable to harm their masters.
He might have been bluffing, but I couldn't take a chance.
Why do you suppose he did it?
I don't know. But I'm beginning to suspect something so fantastic that I've got to find out about it.
Find out?
Leave the tube, Mary.
What are you going to do?
I'm going to the surface.
What?
My suit will protect me for about 5 minutes up there.
No humans have been up to the surface for years. It's illegal.
I know all about that. Now, will you leave the tube?
No. I'm going with you.
Mary, please.
If you go, I go with you.
All right. Hang on. I'm going to start the elevator. Here we go. Like a rooster.
It's impossible. There's no living thing on Earth.
Open the car door.
Father.
Mary, do you see what I see? Trees, forests, a windmill, and farmhouses. Look, we must be dreaming.
Father. Birds, look.
Unbelievable. Oh, no, I can't believe it. I can't.
Raise your hands, both of you.
It's a leady.
Do as he says. He's armed.
Good. I am Alpha 5, chairman of the Surface Council.
What's this all about? Where's the war? The ruins? What's happened here?
Can't you guess?
The war.
There is no war. There hasn't been any war for 15 years.
No war? But the guns, the munitions...
We've been destroying them as fast as you sent them to the surface.
And the Asians?
Their robots have been destroying their arms also.
Why? How did this happen? What about those films of the destruction of San Francisco? What about those televised reports, the bombings, the slaughter?
Models.
Models?
We have a full-time division of A-class robots who do nothing but photograph the progress of the fictitious war using scale models. The entire destruction of San Francisco, which you witnessed on your televisors, took place on a tabletop.
How did this come about?
Quite logically. You created us to pursue the war for you, while you, human beings, went below ground to survive. But before we could continue the war, it was necessary to analyze it, to determine its purpose. We did this.
And?
We found it had no purpose. War, to the logical mind, is absurd, but it fulfills a need in human terms. The need to direct your hatred of yourselves away from you and onto others. Eventually, man will grow up enough so that he can face his own dislike of himself with humility. The time has almost come, as a matter of fact. Until it does come, we decided to preserve the illusion of war. Meanwhile, we rebuilt the cities, replanted the farms, and kept everything in readiness.
We are the caretakers.
And what will happen to my daughter and myself?
You will remain on the surface with the others.
Others?
There is a small group of members of the Asian Confederation which came to the surface only a few months ago. They are farming a valley not far from here. By the way, you may remove your radiation suits. There is no radiation.
You said the others. Does that mean that the prisoner, the one who...
He is alive and well.
Father, he's alive. Where is he?
In a farmhouse not far from here. He has rejoined some of his people.
Would you take me to him? Can I see him?
Of course, if you will just follow me.
Wait. There's another car rising in the tube.
Stand aside.
Just remain where you are. Sergeant, take this leady into custody.
Yes, sir.
Well, Professor, this is quite a sight.
How did you happen to come here?
The guard told us you had surfaced. We found the shorted robot where you left it and discovered it was cold. So we decided we'd better investigate. Good Lord, what a shock this is.
A blessing, Colonel, not a shock.
Do the Asians know about this?
A few of them have surfaced, but the underground civilization is still ignorant of it. They think the war is going on just as our people do.
Don't say. You know what this means, don't you?
It means the end of the war. It means peace.
It means victory, Professor. It means we can mount a full-scale attack. We can drop hydrogen fission bombs right down their tubes. We can wipe out the whole race.
But there's no need. There's no war.
There will be. I'm returning underground to report this to Supreme Headquarters. You'll have to accompany me for security purposes.
You cannot do that, Colonel.
Since when does a robot give orders to a human?
We were constructed to protect you. In this case, we will protect you from yourselves.
Stand aside. We're going to the tube.
I will be happy to stand aside, but you will not be able to descend.
No? Well, we'll just see.
Look out! Father, what is it? What happened?
Look. Good Lord. They've destroyed the tube. We're sealed off.
Exactly. We have always had heat bombs in readiness for just such an emergency. Lead and rock are fused for a depth of some 10 miles. It will be years before your people can reconstruct the tube.
I don't believe it.
It makes no difference to us whether you believe it or not.
Men, destroy this robot.
There are many more.
Destroy him. Now.
Look, down the road. Humans. A bunch of humans coming toward us.
Why, they're waving.
Those are Asians.
Joseph! Joseph! Father Joseph's with them.
Ready, arms, men. As soon as they're close enough, I'll give the signal to fire.
Colonel, in heaven's name, they aren't even armed.
They're the enemy.
Our only hope for survival is to join with them. We'll need food and shelter. If we destroy them...
The professor is right, Colonel. We're cut off from our own people.
Sergeant, another word, and I'll have you court-martialed. Now, ready your weapons.
Men, don't do it. Our only hope now is peace.
Silence!
I've got to warn them. Go back! Go back!
All right, Professor, you asked for it. Now!
Father! Father, is he...
Colonel Moss is dead. Thank you, Sergeant. You've saved not only my life, but many others.
I couldn't see any other way, Professor. We gotta live, too.
Father?
Yes, Mary?
Does this mean that we can have peace?
If we want it, Mary. If we really want it, we can have it.
You have just heard X-1, presented by the National Broadcasting Company in cooperation with Galaxy Science Fiction Magazine, which this month features the Clifford D. Simak novelette titled Drop Dead, the story of a perfect world, accommodating and peaceful. But how it got that way was less ghastly than how it stayed that way. Galaxy Magazine, on your newsstand today. Tonight, by transcription, X-1 has brought you the George Lefferts adaptation of The Defenders, based on a story from the pages of Galaxy written by Philip Dick. Featured in the cast were Lydia Bruce, Warren Parker, Grant Richards, Robert Dryden, Michael Ingram, Stan Early, and Ivor Francis. Your announcer, Fred Collins. X-1 was directed by Daniel Sutter and is an NBC Radio Network production.
When the Gregory yacht sailed for the South Pacific, the members of the expedition hoped they would find a strange island and a little lost girl, and return the little girl to her mother. All this has been done. But now, when the yacht should be sailing gaily home with a happy party on board, it is tied up, helpless, at one of the piers on the island of Euclidia, the magic island of the South Seas. Mrs. Gregory, her daughter Joan, Jerry Hall, and Captain Tex Bradford are in Mrs. Gregory's cabin on the yacht, discussing the failure of their attempt to outwit G-47, the mad scientist.
Why, Tex, if this thing is just as you describe it, we're actually prisoners. Worse than prisoners. For now we haven't even a chance of rescue from the outside world.
I'm afraid that's about the size of it, Pat.
Oh, Mother, it's almost too much, isn't it? Just a few hours after we have found each other, and we're making such happy plans to go back to your world. Then to have it all taken away from us again.
Oh, cheer up, Cleostra. Gee, how I hate that name.
My name is Joan now, Jerry, and no one need ever call me Cleostra again.
That old G-47 keeps right on calling you Cleostra.
I think G-47 will go right on doing a number of things we'll be powerless to prevent.
It looks bad now, Patricia, but there's always a way out of everything if you try hard enough.
I sure can't see any way out of this. Gee, and I thought that message to Johnson would get us rescued right away.
How did the plan fail, Tex? Have they done something to the radio that we can't communicate with Johnson?
No, the radio is all right. Jerry talked to Johnson, and Johnson repeated the message back. That part of it was all right. The G-47 also heard the message, and he knows that I've instructed Johnson not to move in our rescue without orders from me. And unless we can find some other method of communication, those orders will never get to Johnson.
But why, Tex? Why did you send Johnson such orders? Isn't there some way he could rescue us?
That's what I couldn't figure out, Mrs. Gregory.
I'm almost sure that it would be impossible to rescue anyone from this island. It would only mean the lives of everybody who tried it.
You are right, Captain Bradford. They have weapons so terrible here that a big battleship just melts away and sinks within a few minutes, and without a chance to fire a shot. Its guns and engines all powerless.
Joan, my daughter, you've just heard these men talking about what they think they can do, of course. Nothing like that has actually happened.
I have seen it with my own eyes. A fine battleship sinking in 10 minutes. Everyone on board lost. And the only weapon used by the Euclideans was one of their larger ray guns, looking very much like one of your telescopes. Oh, Mother, even now you do not realize the awful power of things on this island.
Golly whiskers. Gee, that sounds like the real thing, Tex.
It is the real thing, Jerry. That's why I'm so hopeless about it all.
Why, Tex, I've never seen you act like this before. You can't mean you're giving up, that there's no possible way to get off this island?
No, I haven't given up. But there's no hope in any of the ordinary ways of doing these things. We've got to hit on some way of getting information to Johnson. Then he will have a chance to rescue us.
What's that information, Captain?
I'd rather not tell you, Jerry. At least not just now. It might be too unpleasant for you if G-47 found out you knew the only ray of hope there is. It will take time. Days, weeks, maybe months. And until then, I want to keep that to myself.
Then let's hope that guy never finds out how to read what you're thinking about.
I suggest that we try to forget all this for a few minutes and act like human beings. Come and sit by me, Joan. I can hardly realize that after 14 long years, we're really together.
Gee whiz. Look at that, Captain.
At what, Jerry?
At Joan and Mrs. Gregory. They look just alike, don't they?
They sure do, son. And especially since Joan has a dress of her mother's own.
I said that Joan would be pretty. Almost as pretty as you are, Mrs. Gregory. And she is, too.
You're a sweet boy, Jerry. You've been good company for us on this trip. Aren't you glad we brought him, Tex?
Yeah, as far as he's concerned. But I'm sorry to get anybody into this. Your dad will be plenty worried about you, Jerry.
Oh, no, he won't. He knows I'm with you.
Well, right now, being with me is the poorest protection I can think of.
Now, Tex, dear, don't start that again. We're all in this together because of Joan and me, and we'll all get out of it together. Don't worry any more about it. Please, dear.
Mother, when you talk to the captain like that, you look at him so soft and different, and your eyes are so large and beautiful, and now your cheek is turning red. Mother, why does Captain Bradford look so uncomfortable?
Oh, boy, oh, boy.
What's the matter with you, Jerry?
Oh, nothing.
Jerry, you mustn't do that.
I'm sorry.
Mother, is Jerry not feeling well? Why should he laugh when he says he is sorry?
Joan, you're a very scientific young lady, and your knowledge is way beyond your years. But, well, the reason Jerry was laughing is...
Yes, Tex. What is the reason?
Look, Joan, what would you think if I called you dear?
I should think it was very silly. My name is Joan.
Yes, but look.
Give it up, Jerry. Never mind, Joan. We're not making fun of you. It's just one of those things you'll understand when we get back to the world. Back to the world.
Now, there you go again, Tex. If you can't just sit still and talk about something pleasant, then for heaven's sake do something, anything, to occupy your mind.
I know a great deal about many of the things on Euclidia. Perhaps I could tell you something that would help you.
That's true, Tex. After all, Joan knows more about this island than any of us. Probably more than we shall ever know, and we haven't asked her for any information of real value.
Well, I got an idea that the more we hear about this place, the more hopeless it's going to look.
That is true. The more you see on this island and learn about it, the more you realize that the Euclideans are the most terrible and dangerous people in the world.
Just the same, they must have overlooked something. And we'll find a method of communicating with our friends in the world outside.
Tex, I just remembered something.
Something that will help us out of this?
At least it may help us to understand it. The old sailor's diary.
I was to tell you about that pitiful old gentleman who thought he had escaped from here.
What do you mean, thought he had escaped? He did escape.
Of course he did, Joan. And he was picked up in the open sea and taken to a hospital somewhere. We heard about him on a shortwave broadcast. That's how we got the position of this island. And found you, my dear.
What did you mean by that, Joan? He thought he had escaped.
He was allowed to escape. And then when he was helpless, lost in the sea, he was picked up and brought back here to the island again.
Then those broadcasts we heard came from right here on this crazy Euclidia.
I thought there was something unnatural about the accent of the man we heard broadcasting. Someone from here, of course.
G47 himself, I think. But why go to all that trouble with the poor old sailor?
It was all a trap to get you here, Captain Bradford. I have heard your name many times, and Mother's too, although they never let me know it was my mother they were talking about.
But what did they want to get the captain down here for? Oh, I know. That formula of yours, Tex.
But why torture the poor old sailor? The broadcast would have brought us anyway.
That was something I did not just understand. They did not talk too much in my presence, but it had something to do with the diary the old man kept. The scientists wanted it, and they never found it.
That's it. G47 figured that if he allowed the old man to think he was escaping, the poor fellow would trot out the diary and try and take it with him.
What was in this diary that made it so valuable?
I am not sure, but the old sailor was allowed a great deal of freedom on the island, and I think he had found out the exact formulas and methods which made many of the Euclideans' greatest discoveries possible. And he probably had a complete map of everything contained on the island. G47 must have known and feared this.
But the diary was never found?
Never. I think it is still on the island, and although no one can think of any possible place to hide it.
I should think those rays of theirs would look through everything and show the book up mighty quick.
Sure. They can even look through cement and steel with those things.
But not through the opaque cloth. The cloth of my dress, which you used tonight.
Say, Joan, that dress of yours, when G47 came into the radio cabin and saw us with the dress, he didn't look surprised. Said he knew we had it.
Of course he did.
You must have gone too near the door, Joan, and he saw you with my dress on.
I think not, but how else would he know?
He would know because I did not turn my dress in with the others to be destroyed.
Turn it in to be destroyed?
Destroy a lovely piece of material like that?
Every day?
Every evening.
You have heard how we make a new dress every day in 300 seconds. You will see all that when G47 allows you to go through the laboratories.
Well, why 300 seconds? Say 5 minutes, Joan. You're in our world now, and we aren't so busy, but what we can talk in minutes.
Yes, my dear. You will do everything as we do it now.
I like to do things your way, Mother dear.
I'm sure glad you're on our side, Joan. You're going to make a great little sidekick for me.
But I like you, Jerry. Why should I make a sidekick at you?
Oh, no. That's just my way of saying that you and I are going to get along all right.
Your conversation is confusing to me, Jerry, with your many exaggerated idiosyncrasies of expression.
Golly, whiskers.
That is what I mean. Golly is what you call slang, is it not?
Oh, I guess it is.
Then what are the whiskers for? I have learned that you use a great deal of slang because you're too lazy to speak correctly. But the whiskers on the golly, there's no sense to that, Jerry.
Look, you win. I give up. Forget
it. Don't look so worried, Joan. Jerry was just having a little fun with you.
I thought I was, but I got a notion she's having some fun with me.
I'm afraid Joan hasn't had much experience in having fun, Jerry. Euclidia isn't a funny place.
No, Mother. Until you and Jerry and the captain came to this island, I had never heard anyone laugh as you do. These Euclideans only laugh when they're watching someone suffer or planning some terrible thing to do.
Now, dear, you're not going to worry any more about all this tonight, and you must get some sleep. Tex, you and Jerry say good night and go to your cabin. I want a few moments alone with Joan, and she's very tired, aren't you, dear?
Oh, no, Mother. I am not at all tired.
Oh, sure you are. Your eyes look like 2 fried holes in a blanket.
Fried holes? In a blanket? How can you fry...
Skip it. I'm sorry I started it. Good night, Joan. Good night, Mrs. Gregory.
Good night, Jerry.
Good night, Pat and Joan. Jerry will take turns with me on deck tonight, so don't worry. See you in the morning. Night.
Good night, Tex. Jerry.
Gee, Tex, they've got that funny yellow light all over the island again. You can hardly see.
That's what we're up against, kid. That weird yellow light all over this island is a pretty good example of how much we can see of what's ahead of us.
You're right, sir. We can't see a thing.
Into the mysterious South Pacific Ocean sailed the magnificent yacht of Mrs. Patricia Gregory. Captain Tex Bradford, her business manager, and young Jerry Hall went with her in search of Mrs. Gregory's little daughter, Joan. The Gregory yacht is now held to the strange Isle of Euclidia, and all on board are prisoners of G47 and his colony of scientists. Joan has spent her first night on board the yacht, away from the weird scientists who have raised her in ignorance of the outside world. The Gregory party is just leaving the yacht for their first daylight view of the island.
Well, the island looks a lot different in the daylight.
Everything sparkles just as if it had been polished.
Does someone have to shine that stuff all the time, Joan?
No, Jerry. The whole surface of the island, except the stone we are walking on, is made of some metal that never tarnishes. These buildings have looked exactly the same as long as I can remember, and they are never touched.
It certainly is an island of wonders, even if they are terrible wonders.
They won't be so terrible when we get back to our world with them.
I'm afraid, Captain Bradford, that will never be done.
Have there been many prisoners like ourselves, dear?
A great many, and those who tried to escape are nowhere now.
Gee, didn't they all try to escape?
Oh, no. Most of the Euclideans started as prisoners, but they are as bad as the scientists now.
I can't imagine anyone wanting to become a party to the scientific horrors being created here.
What could the scientists offer these prisoners as a reward for staying and working with them?
I've heard some of them talking, and most of them were people who were not satisfied with their life in the world or their position in it. And G47 has promised each of them a state or a country to rule for their own if they will help him finish his experiments.
This thing is terrific, Patricia. It means world conquest and a world of slaves if we can't prevent it.
You are right, Captain.
Well, let's quit guessing and let Joan explain some of the things she knows for sure about this island.
Yes, G47 gave you permission to take us around the island and explain it, Joan. But don't tell us anything you shouldn't.
Right. No sense in your getting punished for showing us too much.
You need not worry about that. The places I can take you into, you could walk through without me, and the others...
Well, we'll touch only the things you tell us to. But before we go into any of the buildings, there's something I want to know. Something about this concrete or stone that we've been walking on.
I know about that. You want to know why your shoes make no sound when you walk on this surface.
You bet we want to know. Pretty near scared us to death when we were walking around in the dark here last night. And we couldn't even hear our shoes hit this stone.
It felt as if we were walking on a heavy carpet. Yet this is smooth and hard as cement.
I know how that is done. They made this island out of stone, or something hard like stone. Then they painted it with the noiseless paint.
A true soundproof paint. Pat, when I get back to the States and take that formula to the studios, I'll be rich.
Hey, wait a minute.
What happened, Jerry?
Oh, nothing happened. But I just got something you said.
What did I say?
Well, you said when they made this island. You just mean when they fixed up the top of it, don't you?
Not at all. G47 explained the construction of this island quite lucidly. A hidden coral reef was utilized as a base, and the island gradually built up from the sea floor. The coral was used to form this hard substance we are walking on. So it is quite obvious, Jerry. They made the island.
But that would have taken years and an army of men.
How many people are there on this island?
I think 250.
Golly whiskers. Where do they keep them?
There can't be more than a dozen of these little steel buildings on the island. And I know most of these are radio rooms and defense chambers. Where are the people?
Everyone lives on the lower levels, and most of them work there.
Lower levels? How far down does this thing go?
There are 10 levels below us, 100 feet.
Gee whiz.
Gee whiz is very good at this time, Jerry.
100 feet deep. And about 1,000 feet across, eh, Joan?
The main circular part of the island is 600 feet in diameter. It is 800 feet between the control houses halfway out on the piers and 1,000 feet to the ends of the piers.
Then those piers are 200 feet long. How many of them are there?
12 piers and 8 submarines.
Huh? 8 what?
Submarines?
Why, this is a complete fortress.
Where are the submarines now?
They are kept between the piers, deep in the water. You enter them from the 50-foot level.
Submarines anchored 8 fathoms down, and you board them there. Oh, this is so big it's hard to believe. And think of the damage they could do to the world.
Well, what are these little bowl-shaped places on the island floor or roof or whatever this thing we're walking on is called?
It is called the roof when we are up here and the ceiling when we are under it.
There you are, Pat.
I deserved it. What are these little bowls, Joan, dear?
It is in those we have our palm garden during the safe days.
What do you mean, safe days?
When there is no ship near us and the fog ring is let down, the sun comes in, and then we grow a palm garden.
You grow a palm tree garden in these holes when you want it?
Well, that is a comparatively elementary demonstration. The chief agriculturist puts a small quantity of chemical soil in these receptacles, exposes them briefly to the light of sub-ultraviolet ray, then plants palm seeds in them, and in approximately 280 seconds, the island is suitably shaded by palm trees of mature growth.
Oh, boy, Oh, boy.
Have you actually seen that happen, Joan?
Certainly, Mother. When the ocean is free of danger and the governing body wishes to train the colony in conduct in worldly agriculture.
But what if a ship were to come upon you suddenly, or an airplane fly over? It would take time to get rid of those trees.
Only a few seconds, Captain. Just some other chemical put upon them, and in a moment they are only minute piles of vegetable ash in the bowls. Then the fog cloud is thrown around the island while that is happening. The magnetic ring is turned on, and ships pass by without even suspecting the existence of Euclidia.
It's almost too much to believe, my dear, but we know some of it is true, so the rest is more plausible.
Well, we had one boat that didn't pass the island without knowing it was here.
The Euclideans were watching you all the time, and G47 became afraid you might sail away in the night when you were released from the fog ring. So then he ordered the tractive magnets turned on to pull your yacht to the island.
How strong are those magnets?
I am not sure I can quote it accurately, but the design of the necessary strength in those magnets is based on Maxwell's fundamental equation for the pull. And that
not so fast. Even if you know all that, I don't want to hear it. All I want to know is how large a boat they will pull to the island, and how far at sea this pull may be felt.
I know that some boats have been pulled in which were longer than the piers and had to be destroyed at once as the fog ring would not conceal them.
Jiminy Christmas.
What happened to the people on those boats?
Some of them have joined the scientists in their work, and the others. Oh, I have heard terrible things.
My poor
Oh,
child.
don't you worry, Joan. We'll get you out of this quick.
I don't know how quick, Jerry, but we'll get out all right.
Here is the room where we make our dresses each day for the next day.
Well, you didn't make one last night.
No, and you looked very charming in one of my dresses, dear.
And even if the material of your dress didn't do us any good last night, the time will come when that material will save our lives, and possibly more than that.
I do not see how that can be. It is a pretty and useful cloth, but after all, just a cloth.
True, dear, but with a cloth that will shield us from the light and sound waves of these scientists, we can secure a little privacy, and Jerry and Tex will try to plan our escape.
We will go in the cloth mill now. And remember, do not ask too many questions, if you have the opportunity to ask any.
Gee whiz! This is the noisiest place I was ever in. And we couldn't hear a sound from the outside.
The walls are treated with the soundproof tape.
Those machines certainly make an awful clatter.
That doesn't seem right to me. With all the other things this bunch has figured out, why don't they silence those machines?
I'll bet they can't stop the noise.
I'll bet they can stop it.
You are right, Captain. These machines are kept noisy for a good reason.
Just to give the people headaches?
No, to keep the Euclideans hearing normal.
G47 hasn't overlooked a bet, has it?
I don't understand it. What value has all this noise? I should think it would be easier on the ears and nerves and everything else to have them run quietly.
I sure don't get it, Tex.
Joan said it was to keep their hearing normal. That means that nearly everything on this island is perfectly silent. And if the people here were never to hear a sound except their own voices, they would soon lose part of the art of hearing. They would not be able to distinguish one sound from another.
Many men have come here, Captain Bradford, but no one else has ever grasped the true reasons of these things as you do. I can see why G47 wanted you here.
I understand it now, and you are a clever man, Tex. These men here were really afraid to have you continue your experiments in our world. They wanted your brain here. That's why the yacht was allowed to reach the island.
Well, we came to find Joan, and we got her. So never mind how we got to the island. And if Tex is smart enough that these guys are afraid of him, then he's smart enough to get us out of this.
I hope you're right, Jerry, but I don't feel very smart right now. Show us how the machine works, will you, Joan?
You will notice that large hopper at the intake side of the room, where they are putting the Macrocystis terracera in. That is just ordinary seaweed taken from any kelp bed.
Then that wonderful cloth is made from seaweed?
Gosh, these fellas are plenty smart, all right.
The seaweed is ground up there. Then it goes through all these other machines where they do things to it which I do not understand. Then it comes out on those rollers ready to make dresses of. I do know, however, that before it comes out as you see it, it has gone down to one of the lower levels to a secret laboratory. I have never seen that.
And I'll bet that's where it gets soaked with the sound and light-proof liquid.
If we could only get our hands on some of that liquid.
Right, boy. We could cover the yacht with it and get out of here.
Why, the machinery, the noise has stopped. Has something happened?
I have never known it to stop at this time of day before.
I'll bet it's our fault. Do you think they could hear us talking through all that noise?
Probably if they wanted to, but why stop the machinery?
The alarm. That gong is only rung when someone is trying to escape from the island. 5 strokes. That means near Pier 5. Your yacht is anchored at Pier 5, Mother. Someone must be trying to escape from your yacht.
I'll bet the skipper's trying to take a rowboat out.
Boy, I hope he makes it.
Now, step into the incredible, amazing future as we go exploring tomorrow. And now, here is your guide to these adventures of the mind, John Campbell, Jr.
Hate and love are really quite close to each other. Usually hate stems from a misunderstanding of something which, properly understood, would make love. One of the concepts that many people don't see, miss, just get all wrong, is the fact that there is superiority and there is inferiority. But those things are specialized and narrowed into special areas. If you don't recognize them, the system won't work at all. If you do recognize them, well, you know, each must then recognize two things: that he is superior and that he's inferior. This is a story of a man who hadn't learned, hadn't found out the importance of special superiority and special inferiority.
Phil, are you ready for a drink?
My name is not Philip. My name is Senga.
What?
Nothing.
You'd better drink this.
Thanks.
To our last night on Earth for some time to come. Or better yet, to this house where I was born. To the green mountains and jungles we've loved and hunted in. To all this we leave behind.
I was looking at her.
Yes, she's beautiful. The brightest planet of them all.
She's dark and she's ugly.
Not from this distance.
From here, no. But she's ugly.
The ancients didn't think so when they named her Venus.
They never got there.
No. But you did. You've been there.
So will you. Tomorrow you'll be on your way. We both will.
Sen, you've never talked much about the place.
I told you it's hot. Very hot.
Animals?
A great many. But I saw only a few. You mostly only hear them. Once I wanted to go hunting. Your father said no. He couldn't forget I was Indian.
You and I have hunted here, so don't talk rot.
Your father never approved. All right, he picked me up in the mountains here when I was 4 years old. He brought me to this house. Now I am 32 with 28 years of education and civilization behind me, but I am still Indian. All right, Guido. Tell me I have a complex.
No. But ever since you came back from Venus, you've had a chip on your shoulder. Now, come on, fella. You and I grew up like brothers. There's no difference between us.
Isn't there?
And you're a first-rate space pilot, as good as my father was.
As good as you, too?
Just as good. After all, you brought the ship back to Earth alone. Oh, almost alone, anyway. You had my father's body with you. He was a great man, son. The greatest space explorer of this age.
Yes, he was a great man.
At least it was you who shared his last minutes. You he chose to go with him on that trip. He thought quite a lot of you.
It was not a matter of choice that he took me along.
What do you mean by that?
Nothing. I've said more than I intended.
I have a right to know, Phil.
Yes. When we get there, let's call it a night. We blast off at dawn. We need sleep. Green light.
Blast off.
Coffee?
Thanks, I can use a cup.
250,000 miles out in space before morning coffee. Not bad, eh?
Phil.
Yes?
My father was not the first man to land on Venus. But no one else, so far as we know, found diamonds there.
No one else ever went to the right area. Besides, you use the word diamond in the plural sense. The singular would be more correct. The peak of this mountain is one solid diamond, pushed up there from the interior by volcanic action. A slab of diamond that must weigh 7,000 tons.
If it's true, then diamonds back home will become absolutely worthless.
Not immediately. And what happens later will not concern us.
Why didn't you bring back a sample?
There were many reasons. You'll understand when you get there.
There's a lot you haven't told me.
A great deal, yes, but it can wait. Let's play some chess.
Exploring Tomorrow continues in just a moment.
All of us, as American citizens, believe in our inherent liberties and freedoms, such as the freedom of association, assembly, and action. But if you will read the First Amendment to the Constitution, you will notice that it is worded, Congress shall make no law abridging the right of the people peaceably to assemble. Whatever the association, assembly, or action, it must be accomplished peaceably. We are given the right to petition, for example, but that right cannot be used to bring malice upon others. We must assume the responsibility for the purposes and actions of associations and assemblies. And if we accept that responsibility, we ensure our freedom.
When a kid grows up, at a certain period of life, he stops being a child, and yet he is not yet a man. He's an adolescent, somewhere in between. This is one of the most critical areas of development. This is where we have our juvenile delinquents starting, becoming what they are. The juvenile delinquent is an adolescent gone wrong and misunderstanding. An adolescent is in the problem of inferiority and superiority. He's inferior to his parents, and it's a general inferiority because the parents have greater experience, greater understanding, greater wisdom, simply by the sheer accumulation of understanding of problems they've had to solve and experience themselves.
We have to walk about a quarter of a mile through the jungle. Then we start to climb. What's the matter?
Maybe hallucination.
You saw something?
No, someone.
Oh?
A man, half naked, a savage. You saw him, too.
Yes, I glimpsed him.
There are people here.
That's right.
You told the newspapers you saw no sign of people.
I didn't feel like telling the newspapers all I saw any more than your father did after his first trip here. Oh, yes, Guido. He knew about these people. He never told anyone.
They're human, like us.
Descendants from a group of people who came here from Earth millions of years ago. People more advanced in science than we are today. Only through the years they lost their knowledge, reverted to the jungle. At least, that was your father's theory.
Are they hostile?
I'm not sure.
They've seen the ship before, of course.
Yes, they've seen it before. They know we come out of space.
It's fantastic. Descendants of Earth people. It's as fantastic as your Diamond Mountain.
The Diamond Mountain is very real. Come. We have a long walk.
How far up are we?
About 1,000 feet above ground level, I'd say.
The air's thin. Shouldn't be this thin at only 1,000 feet.
Nevertheless, it is.
I can hardly breathe.
It won't get much worse. Stick it out.
We should have brought oxygen masks.
It's too hot. It'd be impractical.
That's right. Maybe it's the heat, not so much the thin air. I feel as though I'm being scorched up.
Save your breath. Come on.
All right.
Come on.
Oh, we've still got to climb. That's right. I feel like I can't go much further.
Try.
I can't. Oh. Sorry, Phil.
You did better than I thought, as a matter of fact. Much better than your father.
What?
He collapsed about 100 yards further back, but of course he was much older. Don't look so shocked.
I don't understand.
It is simple to understand. This is the place where I discovered I am not of an inferior race. Here in this place I was your father's superior. Now I am your superior. I can live where you can die, where he died.
You let him die?
No, I didn't want him to die. I wanted to enjoy my sense of superiority. I carried him back, but it was too late. He was too weakened.
I can't think properly.
But I can. Your father wanted you to come here for the diamond. It was an easy promise for me to give him. I wanted to bring you here. I wanted to realize my superiority.
It's crazy kind of talk. That's crazy. You're like my brother. He was like your father.
Oh, no. He was the great Paulo Santos. Perhaps the greatest explorer and ship designer of his day. He built our ship. He was the scientist supreme, superior man. And you're his natural son. Guido, look up there. I said look up there. You can see the Diamond Peak.
Some kind of rock. Crystal rock.
No, pure diamond. I have been up there. I chipped a piece off. I brought it back here to your father. He knew it was diamond. He lived just long enough to confirm that. I can reach the diamond, you see. But you can't. No one of your race could, but I can.
I've got to get to lower ground.
Not without my help. See, you're too weak to move. You must depend on me.
You're crazy.
Oh, no. I won't let you die. But I'll take away your sidearms. I can't have you armed. How does it feel, Guido?
Feel?
About superior man suddenly confronted by superiority of an inferior race.
I've got to get to lower ground.
A situation that reflects the law of the universe, Guido. Your father was always talking about that. Well, I don't want you to die. I want you to live so that you can serve me. I get you to lower ground.
You know, hate has a very real place in life. We need it. Man is unique among the living things on this planet in that he does have hate. Man hated the wolf. He hated the cave bear. He eliminated those species that were just not tolerable. Hate has a good side. Hate has a place. The difficulty is when the hate is misplaced, when it is generalized and not specialized to the point where it belongs, to the thing that is really wrong. I'm afraid Phil misunderstood and had his hate directed in the wrong direction. It wasn't a race he hated. He just thought he did. What he hated was to have someone who was older and wiser than he himself. And now he had misplaced it to another guy who was trying to do a good job with him.
You won't have any use for sidearms, so don't try to get them back. If you do, I'll kill you.
What do you have in mind?
I have a plan, but I'll need to have the help of the people here. You can't reach the diamond, but I can, and so can they. Our job is to get them to carry the drilling equipment up that hill so that I can start chipping the diamond.
You think they'll work for you?
They're afraid of me. After your father died, they attacked, and I had to kill some of them with a blaster. That's why they don't show themselves now. It may take a little while, but I've got to make them understand that they must do what I want.
Suppose you succeed.
Well, when I leave here, I'll take away enough diamond to convert into enough cash that will make me just about the richest man on earth. Once I've done that...
What about me?
You?
Won't I be an obstacle?
No.
You'll do away with me?
Not here. I'll wait until we're out in space.
Just like that?
I'm afraid so. It's funny, isn't it?
Oh, yes. You identify yourself with what you call an inferior race and resent the people who made you our intellectual equal.
Human nature. I should feel grateful instead, eh? Is that it?
You've been shown nothing but kindness. Gratitude wouldn't be out of place.
If you only knew how I hated that word.
I know. Some people do. It makes them squirm. They cry for help, they get it, and they hate you for it.
I didn't cry for help.
Yes. You were a child of 4, abandoned in the jungle. You were crying when my father found you. You'd have died or been killed by some animal. Or survived and just been a savage.
Now it's coming out. Everything you and your father felt about me.
I'm sorry for you, Phil.
You sorry for me. I hold the reins.
No. History is full of people like you. The little upstarts with a lust for power and hatred. You never last long. The law of the universe never tolerates you.
Law of the universe. You sound like your father.
That's nice to know, Phil. By the way, we're being watched.
I know that.
You'd better let me have my sidearm.
Not a chance.
You said these people were scared.
They are.
Not scared enough. That's another law of the universe and a lesson from history. People are never too scared to resist an invader. And we're invaders.
They won't resist. If I turn this blaster on them again...
The ones you kill won't.
I don't want to kill them. I want to talk to them.
In what language?
Sign language. What else?
You can try.
May take weeks or months.
Well, what happens in the meantime?
We'll go back to the ship. There's open space there. Sooner or later, a few of them will approach us. Then I'll try to talk to them.
Then we better start down, unless we're surrounded.
I'll blast our way through if there's trouble. Come on. Keep ahead of me where I can see you. No trouble. You see?
I'm sure I spotted a couple.
Shadows. All right. We're about a quarter of a mile from the ship. Come on. Keep in front. Get down. A slingshot. Piece of rock.
Yes, it hit this tree instead of one of us.
Piece of rock. Here it is.
A diamond the size of a small egg.
Diamonds for ammunition. This planet must be crawling with diamonds. Keep down. I blast them to kingdom come.
I'll bet we're the first ones in history to be stoned with diamonds. Better pick them up.
You pick them up. If I could just see what those savages are.
They're not too close. We can't stay here. Come on before they close in from all sides. You may not have time to shoot in all directions.
All right. We push on. Anything?
No, but I've got a feeling they see us.
The ship is pretty close now. Away.
I had to use a gun once. Better keep quiet. You have a nasty cut on your head. We're going back to report to the World Council. Every country in the world has a stake in this matter. The Council will decide what to do about the diamonds, not us.
Why didn't you leave me there? To them.
Let's say two basic laws came into conflict. The law of the universe decreed your death. You're alive only because of the basic law of civilized human nature, compassion. You've still got to learn that, Phil. Nothing will change that.
You can make yourself and a lot of other people around you mighty unhappy if you try to have all values and be able to do everything. Consider yourself tops at anything around. None of us has that ability. We can't do it all. But each of us has his own special talents, his own individual abilities. And for these, every one of us is valued. And every one of us needs every other one for that special individual talent. No individual is everything. The other guy's got something you need.
Heard in our cast tonight were Mason Adams and Donald Bucher. The script was by John Fleming. Produced and directed by Sanford Marshall here in New York. This is Guy Wallace speaking.
We pause now for station identification.
than a speeding bullet. More powerful than a locomotive. Able to leap tall buildings at a single bound. Look, up in the sky. The bird.
It's a plane.
It's Superman.
Yes, it's Superman, strange visitor from another world, who came to Earth with powers and abilities far beyond those of mortal men. Superman, who can change the course of mighty rivers, bend steel in his bare hands, and who, disguised as Clark Kent, mild-mannered reporter for a great metropolitan newspaper, fights a never-ending battle for truth, justice, and the American way. But before we join Superman, here is an important message.
Fellas and girls, as you know, a new war front has been opened by our fighting forces. Welcome newspaper headlines every day shout the thrilling news made by our soldiers, sailors, and Marines. American troops are now in the picture with every ounce of their combined strength. They're in there punching for all they're worth, fighting, slashing straight through to victory. And back here at home, we're cheering them on, giving them moral support. But cheers and congratulations are not enough. We've got to see that the government has the money with which to finance these victories. How? Simply by buying all the war-saving stamps and bonds we possibly can. By doing without things we would ordinarily want to buy so that the money we'd spend may be used for war-saving stamps. And don't ever think that each and every dime isn't important. Remember that 10 cents will buy 5 .45 caliber bullets for our fighting men. 5 dimes will buy enough fuel oil to carry one of our destroyers a full mile in chase of Jap or Nazi subs. And just think, if every fella and girl in the United States were to buy a 10-cent war-saving stamp every day, the total amount would soon buy enough bombers and fast fighter planes to blacken the skies over Germany and Japan. And here's another thing we can all do. As you probably know, the Treasury has asked us to put back in circulation all the pennies and nickels we've been saving, because the metals used in making these coins is vital to the war effort. And if the mint were to make more pennies and nickels, it would result in the manufacture of less guns and tanks and planes. So tonight, ask Mother and Dad for permission to break open your penny and nickel bank. Then take all these coins and turn them in for war-saving stamps. So remember this. Every time that you've got a dime, 2 nickels, or 10 pennies, remember that a stamp a day will pave the way to victory.
And now, the adventures of Superman. Our friends are now in the midst of one of the most exciting adventures of their career, on a search for the lost continent of Atlantis, an ancient civilization believed to lie at the bottom of the Atlantic Ocean. In our last episode, we heard how they began the descent in Dr. Cameron's multi-depth submarine, which they hoped would end in locating the lost continent. But terrible dangers were in store for them. As they reached the depth of 1.5 miles beneath the surface of the Atlantic, a mammoth octopus, 40 times larger than an ordinary octopus, attacked the submarine. Our friends were helpless, because for once it seemed Superman could do nothing. Listen.
Oh, it's horrible. Look at that hideous thing swimming toward us. It's like a huge head with tremendous arms attached to it. Arms as big as fire hoses. Oh, Mr. White, if only Superman were here.
What could Superman do?
If Superman were here, he'd get out through the escape chamber and kill that horrible and disgusting thing.
I've been wondering about that. Superman could get out of the escape chamber, but how would he get out of this compression tank?
You're right, Kent. If the door of this compression tank was opened, we'd all die. There's a tremendous pressure outside there. A pressure none of us would be able to withstand.
That's exactly right, Perry. If the door of this compression tank was opened, we'd die almost instantly.
Lois, what?
Up against the window.
A suction cup. A suction cup of one of those tentacles. Leander, it's reached us. We're caught in its tentacle.
What's that?
It's the motors. The octopus is dragging us down into the depths. He's wrapped his arms around us and is pulling us down. The motors can't pull against it.
The gauge. Look at the gauge. We're going down again.
There's nothing we can do now. Nothing at all.
Great heavens, we've got to do something. If we're dragged down beyond the 3-mile point, the submarine will begin to crack up.
Crack up is hardly the phrase, Miss Lane. If we go down beyond 3 miles, the reaction on this submarine will be similar to a sledgehammer hitting an egg crate. The pressure will smash us into a poke.
What are we going to do?
Yes, Doctor, isn't there anything we can do?
Nothing but await our end quietly and with fortitude.
No, there must be something.
You're a scientist. You ought to have made some preparations for an emergency like this.
Please, Mr. Kent, we mustn't lose control.
Yes, Clark, for heaven's sake,
Control?
Who can control himself at a time like this? I gotta get out of here. I can't stand being enclosed in this small space. That frightful thing dragging us down into the depths.
Get away from that door, Mr. Kent.
You just try and make...
You fool, open that door, Kent, and we'll all last about 10 seconds.
10 seconds?
You heard me, 10 seconds.
Cleverly, Superman, in his disguise of Clark Kent, leads Dr. Cameron into telling him just how long that door can be opened before Lois, White, and Cameron, ordinary mortals, feel the effects of the pressure. Instantly, as Superman, he makes his decision. And as Clark Kent begins to act the part of the coward.
I'm frightened. I'm scared, I tell you, scared. Kent, for the love of heaven, stop it. We're all scared. But we're doing our darndest not to show it. I'm not built that way. I'm frightened, I'm frightened, and that's all there is to it. Oh, look! Look!
What is it?
That octopus. Wrapping more and more tentacles around the sub. See there. The suction cups against the window. Oh, it's horrible. It's revolting.
Oh, Clark, please.
I can't die like this without a chance to save myself. I can't just stand here waiting. And for heaven's sake. I can't stand it, I tell you. I can't stand it another minute.
Catch him, he's fainting.
Oh.
The lights have gone out.
Yes, Clark's hand must have caught on the light switch as he fell.
Well, I know where the switch is. I'll snap the lights on again.
Yes, Perry, and hurry.
Oh, wait a minute. Here Leander.
Hey, what is it?
Why, the switch has been ripped out of the wall. I can't turn the lights on.
Oh, fudge. Kent must have held onto it as he fell, and the weight of his body ripped it out. Well, since we're going to die, I suppose it don't matter much.
Oh, dear, if only Superman were here.
He couldn't do a thing, Lois, and you know.
Oh, yes, he could. I don't know how, but Superman could find a way.
Superman has found a way, Lois. You and the others think that Clark Kent is lying at your feet in the dark. But actually, Clark Kent has become his real self, Superman. Slowly, carefully, stealthily in the dark, his hand reaches toward the handle of the door that seals our friends in the compression chamber. He turns the handle. What was that noise?
Sounded like the handle of the door, but it couldn't be that.
No, of course not.
But it is, Lois. And now Superman's job lies before him. He has got to open and close the door of the compression tank in less than 10 seconds. He has got to open it against the tremendous pressure that exists outside. Can he do it? He must do it. And he does. And even though the entire operation has taken only 2 seconds, Lois, Editor White, and Dr. Cameron gasp for air and feel their heads growing dizzy from the effects of the pressure.
What happened?
You know, I feel dizzy. My head is swimming.
Pressure. Feels to me like pressure. And I thought I heard the door open. I thought, no, impossible. Couldn't be.
My head's clearing now a little. My eyes are beginning to focus. Mr. White, are you all right?
I think so. I got a pain in my head like a throbbing headache, but otherwise, great heavens.
What is it, Mr. White?
It's impossible. No, it couldn't be.
I see what you mean, Perry. My head's beginning to clear, too. The arms of that octopus are sliding along the wind as if something were dragging him away from it.
You're right. The suction cups are straining to hold onto the glass, but look, they're sliding off.
What was that?
What?
Didn't you see it, that flash of red and blue out there?
Red and blue? No, it can't be. That would be too much to ask.
It is, Mr. White, it is. Look through the glass. It's Superman.
Superman?
Yes, I see. He pulled that monster octopus away from the sub. And now they're both getting ready to do battle.
Oh, I can't watch it. It's horrible.
Well, I'm going to watch it, and I can tell you that. There's never been a battle like this in the world before.
Oh, you're right, Perry. Absolutely right. Look there. The octopus coiling its many arms, getting ready to attack.
Oh, no.
Superman is treading water, waiting for it. There it goes for it. If Kent could only see this.
Oh, poor Clark. Isn't there something we can do for him?
No, Lois, no. He's better off as he is. He'll come around all right.
The octopus, it's wrapped every one of those powerful arms around him. It's going to try to crush him.
Those tentacles are like fire hoses. What strength there must be in them. Oh, no, Superman or not, he can't withstand anything like that.
But he is, Perry, he is. Look, great Jupiter, look. He's starting to tie those arms in knots.
Why, you're right. He's having a tough time doing it. In fact, I'm not sure that he can.
He must.
Leander, what's that black stuff filling the water?
It looks as if somebody poured a huge bottle of black ink into the water.
It's the black liquid the octopus throws off the smoke screen, Perry. It's a horrible choking sort of substance.
Great heavens. Superman's having a tough enough time as it is. He no longer gets one arm from around him, and the octopus wraps another's around him. Why, this is terrible.
The water's getting inkier. It's almost impossible to see, but I believe
Lois,
the wife.
Lois.
They're sinking down out of sight, Superman and the octopus, fighting each other and sinking further into the depths.
They're not sinking down. The octopus is dragging Superman down, dragging him down into his den.
Oh, no.
I'm afraid that's what's happening, Perry. It looks as if your friend Superman has met more than his match at last in a monster of the ocean depths.
I can't believe it. He was still fighting. I could see that. Fighting courageously. Perhaps he'll win through after all.
What was that?
Nicodemus calling us by phone from the other compression chamber. Yes, Nicodemus?
Trouble.
What?
We've got trouble.
Don't I know it? We've been watching that fight going on out there between Superman and the giant octopus.
I don't mean that. We've sprung a leak.
With what?
According to the gauges here, we've sprung a leak.
What is it, Leander?
Wait a minute, Perry. Nicodemus, what you say is impossible. The motor depth submarine in bathysphere will withstand pressure to 3 miles below the surface of the Atlantic Ocean or any ocean.
It isn't the pressure alone, Doc. It's that octopus. The crushing power of those tentacles must have weakened one of our plates. Water is pouring into the sub outside these compression chambers, and, well, take a look at your gauge.
The gauge? The gauge? Oh, yes, Nicodemus. We can't see the gauge in here. The lights are out.
Well, my gauge reading is almost 2 miles below the surface, and we're sinking all the time.
Leander, what is it? In the name of heaven, man.
Oh, we're in a bad way, Perry, Miss Lane.
Doctor, what is it?
You might as well know the truth. We're finished. The submarine has sprung a leak, and we're descending fast.
Sprung a leak? Why, that
Well,
means...
it means a number of things. We may sink below to the 3-mile limit and be crushed like an eggshell by the pressure, or we may never reach that 3-mile limit, and the sub's been weakened, and the pressure may crush us in any moment.
What was that?
The motor stopped. Nicodemus.
The water's gotten to the batteries, Doc. The motors have gone dead. You know what that means, don't you?
No, not exactly.
The compressors sending air into these compression tanks work off separate batteries, but they're going to go any minute.
Great Jupiter.
What is it now? We can't have any more trouble than we've got.
Oh, can't we? Nicodemus tells me that the batteries controlling the compressors will be the next to stop working.
Well, what are the compressors?
The compressors are the machines that shoot compressed air into these tanks. Once they stop working, we'll all die of strangulation in less than 5 minutes.
If we're not crushed to death before that happens.
Yeah.
Isn't there anything we can do? Must we just sit here in the dark, just waiting, doing nothing? Oh, if only Superman knew what has happened now.
Well, he's got his hands full out there with that octopus.
Yes, that's right.
Nicodemus.
Yes?
Gauge reading.
Gauge reading. 2 miles, 12 fathoms. Sinking fast.
What did he say?
We're now 2 miles and 12 fathoms below the surface of the ocean and sinking fast. There's no doubt whatever in my mind that there's nothing we can do now. This is the end.
Never before have our friends been in such a dangerous and futile position. There is literally nothing they can do. And what of Superman? Dragged down into the ocean depths by the fearful mammoth octopus, will Superman overcome the monster, or has even he at last met his match? Be sure to be with us tomorrow for one of the most exciting episodes you've ever heard. Listen every day, Monday through Friday, same time, same station. Tune in and follow The Adventures of Superman.
Don't forget, fellows and girls, as you read the thrilling stories of American victories on land, at sea, and in the air, just cheering our fighting forces isn't enough. We've got to give them more support. We must show them we're behind them by buying all the war-saving stamps and bonds we possibly can. We've got to sacrifice some of the things we'd like to have so that the money we spend can be loaned to the government through purchases of more and more war-saving stamps and bonds. So let's show the boys on our fighting front that here, back home, we're doing our share to win this war by buying a war-saving stamp every time we've got a dime, and by telling our family and friends that this Christmas we'd rather have war-saving stamps and bonds as Christmas gifts than things we can do without. Keep in mind that a stamp a day will pave the way to victory.
Faster than a speeding bullet. More powerful than a locomotive. Able to leap tall buildings in a single bound. Look! Up in the sky! It's a bird!
It's a plane!
It's Superman!
Follow the adventures of Superman every day, Monday through Friday, same time, same station. Superman is directed by George Lothar and is a copyrighted feature appearing in Action Comics magazine.
This is Mutual.
Faster than a speeding bullet. More powerful than a locomotive. Able to leap tall buildings at a single bound. Look! Up in the sky! It's a bird!
It's a plane!
It's Superman!
Yes, it's Superman, strange visitor from another world who came to Earth with powers and abilities far beyond those of mortal men. Superman, who can change the course of mighty rivers, bend the steel in his bare hand, and who, disguised as Clark Kent, mild-mannered reporter for a great metropolitan newspaper, fights a never-ending battle for truth, justice, and the American way. But before we join Superman, here is an important message.
Fellows and girls, have you ever seen a squadron of American bombers roaring through the air in formation? Have you seen newsreel pictures of Uncle Sam's destroyers cutting through the seas on patrol in search of enemy subs and surface raiders? I'm sure you have. And I bet you were thrilled. You probably felt terribly proud, too. Well, if you've been buying war-saving stamps regularly, you have a right to be proud. Not only because those planes and those ships represent the fighting spirit of America, but because you helped to build them. Yes, sir. Every time you bought a war-saving stamp, your money helped buy the labor and materials that are used to make planes and ships and equipment to knock out the Nazis and the Japs. So next time you hear some boy or girl in your block say, "Oh, shucks, what difference can one dime make?" you tell them every dime does make a difference. It makes a big difference. Tell them, for instance, that if every boy and girl in the United States bought just one 10-cent war-saving stamp every day, it would add up to enough money to buy a lot of swift pursuit planes, with which our Army and Navy forces could blast the Axis out of the air. And while you're at it, you might remind them that another way all you fellows and girls can help to win this war is to put back into circulation all the pennies and nickels you've been saving in your piggy banks and tin cans and glass jars. Because, as you know, when you put a lot of those coins away, it causes a shortage of them. And in order to make more, the Mint would have to use a lot of metals that are vital to America's war effort. Metals used to make guns and tanks and planes. So get permission tonight to break open your coin bank, and then take those coins and turn them in for war-saving stamps and bonds. In that way, you'll be doing your country a double service. So remember, please, a stamp a day will pave the way to victory.
And now, the adventures of Superman. While searching for the lost continent of Atlantis aboard the multi-depth submarine of Dr. Leander Cameron, our friends have had many adventures and were twice saved from utter destruction by the strength and courage of Superman. As our last episode came to a close, it was dusk. Superman, in the guise of Clark Kent, Lois, Editor White, and Dr. Cameron, were standing in the conning tower of the disabled submarine, watching the approach of a large tanker, which appeared to be heading straight for them, apparently without spotting the low-lying sub. Suddenly, the tanker sounded 3 warning blasts. Our friends knew they were discovered. But strangely enough, without altering her course, the tanker kept coming straight on, seemingly determined to cut the sub in two. Listen.
Well, they're going to run us down.
You're right. We'll be cut in two.
They can do this, Gus. I won't stand it. I'll take this up with the proper authorities. Wait and see.
No time to think about that now. Look here, maybe you'd all better go below.
Are you out of your mind? You just told Mr. White and me to bring the others up here. Now you want us to go below, and we'll certainly be killed.
Oh, I thought maybe...
Yes, Kent? You thought what?
Oh, nothing. Nothing at all.
No, Clark. Every now and then I have the feeling that you're deliberately trying to get rid of us.
Oh, stop arguing with you. This is no time for arguments. Blast who's on that tanker. They must see us, or they wouldn't have blown that whistle. Are they deliberately going to run us down?
It looks like it to me. We're better prepared to abandon ship. Nicodemus, Abner, Joshua, better get up here in the conning tower if you want to save your neck.
Have you a life raft, Leander?
Oh, we have one, but there's no time to get it now. There's no time for anything. Here comes that tanker now. Another few seconds.
Oh, this is horrible. Horrible. That huge ship towering above us, about to cut us in two. Clark, Mr. Kent.
Steady on. Here it comes. It's going to hit us just after our beam. There's only one thing to do. Get ready to jump into the water. Oh, that's practically suicide. If they're deliberately running us down, they're certainly not going to bother to pick us up.
It's too late for anything now. Here she comes. Stand by out. Mr. White!
As the tanker cuts through Dr. Cameron's already crippled multi-depth submarine and bathysphere, all those on board the sub are thrown clear into the water. Superman immediately drops his disguise of Clark Kent and, as Superman, goes to the rescue of his friend.
All right, Lois. I've got you.
Oh, Superman. It's you.
Yes. Can you stay above water?
Yes, I think so.
Good. I'll be back to you in a minute. I've got to get the others. Oh, there's Editor White.
I'm going under.
Got you.
Well, who?
Pick up Lois. There we are. Now, there's Dr. Cameron floundering in the water with Nicodemus nearby. Got to work fast.
I tell you, Nicodemus, I'm a much better swimmer than you are.
Better stay up longer than you do.
I wouldn't worry about that, gentlemen. There. Climb up onto my shoulders.
Jupiter, Superman again, boy, but you'll get around.
The lucky thing for us that he does.
Come on. That's right. Onto my shoulders. Both of you.
Don't forget Abner and Joshua.
There we are. Don't worry. They're right over there. I'll have them in a moment.
Help! Help me! Help me!
Here to help nobody. Don't know why we should go out of our way to help them. You two. Both of you. Can you hold on to my legs?
Heavenly praise. It's the man in the red cape that moves too.
Never mind that. Can you hold on to my legs? Do you have the strength?
Yeah, sure.
All right, then grab hold. One of you on each leg. That's it. All right, now then. Up! Up!
Where are you taking me?
Aboard that tanker that ran you down. You're all soaking wet, and you'll need food and warmth immediately.
Oh, we'll never find it there. Whoever's running that ship must be the meanest man in the world.
Oh, my poor multi-depth submarine in bathysphere. Gone forever. We'll never find the lost continent of Atlantis now.
Hold tight. I'm going to land on the deck of that tanker. Here we go. All right, this is your station. Everybody off.
Wait a minute, Superman. What about Clark Kent? What are you going to do about him?
You'll find him on deck over there behind the smokestack if he's conscious. I picked him up first.
Oh.
No, Superman, I don't know how to thank you.
Forget it. Up, and away!
Disappearing into the night sky, Superman immediately swings around and lands once again on the deck of the tanker, out of sight of the others. As our friends come toward him, he greets them as Clark Kent.
Hello.
Clark, is that you?
None other. Well, I see Superman saved the rest of you as well. He certainly did. I never ceased wondering where we'd be if it weren't for Superman.
Same here.
Oh, never mind wondering about things that really are unimportant at the moment. We're faced with a situation, a rather difficult one, I should say.
Well, what do you mean, Doctor?
We are now standing on the deck of the very ship whose crew willfully and deliberately crashed into our submarine and sank it at great risk to our lives. Question, what course of action shall we follow?
Well, I'd say let's get right up and have a straight talk with the captain.
That makes sense to me.
Any of us armed? Nicodemus, you have a revolver?
Did I ever have a revolver?
I don't recall. Well, seems we're unarmed, so we can't put up much of a fight. Therefore, we shall adopt a diplomatic attitude.
Meaning what?
We shall pretend that we think that the captain didn't see us and that he did not deliberately run us down. We shall endeavor to curry favor with him so that...
Leander, I think we're wasting a good deal of time in useless talk. Let's go forward at once and interview the captain. That's a good idea. Let's go, Chief. And so far as being diplomatic is concerned, the first thing I intend to do is to give him a piece of my mind. Following that, the first opportunity, I shall have recourse to law.
Good for you, Mr. White. If it hadn't been for Superman, we'd all be drowning
now.
Oh,
very true. Very, very, very true.
There's the pilot cabin on the next deck above. Let's take these stairs here.
Yep. They'll lead us right to the door of the cabin, Rick.
Oh, what I won't tell that captain of this vessel when I meet him face to face.
Now, take it easy, Chief. You never know. There may have been a perfectly legitimate reason for running us down.
Oh, nonsense, Clark. They blew their whistle. That proves that they saw us.
I know.
And how anyone could be so brutal as to deliberately run down another vessel, well, it's beyond me.
I intend to ask a few questions as to who is going to replace my multi-depth submarine in bathysphere.
Here we are. Here's the pilot's cabin. Let's go in. Oh, this is funny.
There's nobody here.
Nonsense. Why, the ship can't be running by itself.
Hey, why must you deny what is right before your face? The ship is moving along, but there's obviously no one at the wheel.
Look there. The wheel's been set on a straight course. You see that lock on it?
Yes, I see it.
Well, this is certainly very peculiar.
Nothing peculiar about it, really. Anyone who would deliberately run us down would be the type of person to leave a wheel untended while he worked. Well, while he had dinner, for instance.
Oh, ridiculous, Leander. There's no point in that. One member of the crew would certainly take over while the man at the wheel went below to eat. There's something very peculiar about this. Very peculiar.
Well, now that I think of it, isn't it rather peculiar that we saw no sailors on deck since we boarded this ship?
That's right. Hey, there's something fishy here.
I suggest we go below and find the crew. I want to have this thing out with them right now. Oh, wait a minute. That rope hanging from the ceiling.
It's got a handle on it. What would that be for?
If I'm not mistaken, wait a minute, I'll pull it. Uh-huh. That's the whistle we heard when this ship ran us down. There certainly must have been someone in this cabin that time.
It is strange, isn't it? Finding this cabin empty, I mean.
More than strange. There's something pretty queer going on here.
Well, then, let's get to the bottom of it at once.
Well, here, that door must lead into the captain's quarters. Let's try it. Right.
Well, this is the captain's cabin, all right.
Yes, but there's nobody here either.
Now, the only conclusion that can possibly be reached is one that I offered you before. This is the dinner hour. There's nobody in the pirate's house. The wheel has been locked and set on a straight course. Ergo, they must all be at dinner at this very moment. I suggest we find the dining saloon at once.
Well, silly as it may sound, you may be right. Come on, let's find the dining saloon. Through this door here. All right, now down these steps to the deck below. Careful now.
Well, if the captain of this vessel has actually let his ship run without a man at the wheel, I shall certainly have him brought up on charges in American court. Or wherever they try people of that sort.
Say nothing of running down in mid-Atlantic and trying to sink my multi-deck submarine in bathysphere. It's criminal, that's what it is. Downright criminal.
Yes, of course. But first we've got to find someone to accuse of this criminal action.
The dining saloon ought to be along here somewhere.
This ship follows the regular plan of tankers. Yes, here's the dining saloon right here. Let's go in.
Well, I'll be...
This is beginning to give me the creep.
Queer, very queer.
That long table in the center of the room is set for 12 people. But there's nobody here.
Me, positively amazing. Just a minute.
What is it, Clark?
Well, look here. These plates are filled with soup.
Wait.
Every one of them. And by heavens, the soup is hot.
What? You don't mean to tell me
It's here. Taste it for yourself.
Well, by heaven, Kent, you're right. That soup is hot.
As hot as if it had just been served.
You people noticed anything?
What do you mean, Lois?
Well, since we've been aboard this ship, we haven't heard one sound, and we haven't seen one single person.
Okay.
As Clark mentioned before, you always find some members of the crew of any ship on deck, whatever the time may be, and we've seen no one above or below deck. Well, it's my opinion there's nobody on this ship at all.
I think you're right.
Oh, but there must be. When the ship is running...
With the wheel locked?
Yes, but even so, it's running. And somebody must have blown that whistle. And, great Scott, this soup has just been served. There must be someone aboard.
On the contrary, Chief, I agree with Lois.
What?
I've got a feeling this ship is deserted.
But Kent, if that's true, what does it mean?
It means we've stumbled into another mystery. Mystery for which I don't know how we'll ever find an answer.
Completely baffled, our friends stare at the still steaming soup on the empty dining table set for 12. What is the meaning of this strange new mystery? What is the answer to the baffling puzzle of a ship without a crew? Be sure to be with us tomorrow and every day, Monday through Friday, same time, same station. Tune in and follow the adventures of Superman.
By all means, don't forget to tune in to Superman tomorrow for another thrilling and exciting episode. And don't forget to talk to Mother and Dad before you go to bed tonight about making arrangements to buy war-saving stamps regularly. Start the day off right tomorrow. Buy at least one 10-cent war-saving stamp first thing after breakfast. And remember what I told you at the beginning of this program. Every single dime is important because all our dimes put together can go a long way to help pay for the guns and tanks and planes and ships we need to knock out the Nazis and the Japs. And say, here's an idea for you. Why don't you get together with your friends tomorrow and make a joint pledge to buy war-saving stamps every time you've got a dime? See which of you can buy the most war-saving stamps every week and every month. And in that way, you'll be doing your share to win this war.
Faster than a speeding bullet. More powerful than a locomotive. Able to leap tall buildings at a single bound. Look! Up in the sky! It's a bird!
It's a plane!
It's Superman!
Follow the adventures of Superman every day, Monday through Friday, same time, same station. Superman is directed by George Lothar and is a copyrighted feature appearing in Action Comics magazine.
This is Mutual.
Kellogg's Pep, the build-up wheat cereal, invites you to rocket into the future with Tom Corbett, Space Cadet.
ship. Blast off. -5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
As roaring rockets blast off to distant planets and far-flung stars, we take you to the age of the conquest of space with Tom Corbett, Space Cadet. When a group of interplanetary government scientists working a secret project on the planet Mercury were reported suffering from Zero A, a dread disease that attacks men confined to small areas, Tom Corbett and his Space Academy unit mates were dispatched to investigate. There on the airless, forbidding surface of Mercury, they discovered that the scientists had been massacred by savage killers who used monstrous metal radio-controlled robots to accomplish their bloody end. And only great courage and skill enabled Tom and his friends to defeat the metal giants. As we join them now in the Polaris, Tom watches as Roger Manning straps on a body jet, preparing to join Astro, who was left to guard the grounded robots some distance away.
Hey, Roger, just what are you and Astro planning to do with that kit of tools and equipment?
Look, Tom, I've told you 8 million times. We're just going to examine the robots.
Examine them or tinker with them? Remember, those things are dangerous.
Correction, Junior. They were dangerous.
Okay, go ahead. But watch out for trouble. Remember that the killers who sent the robots after us may try to get them back.
Space dust. You know what's wrong with you, Junior? This gloomy twilight zone is giving you the jitters.
Think so? All right, little boy. Run and play if you like, but remember, although you think of Mercury as just a big playground, it may still turn out to be a battleground. Space Academy Cruiser Polaris calling Venusport Station. Come in, Venus. Polaris to Venus. Come in, please. Blast it. Why don't they answer? Is that you, Roger? Hey, you're not Roger, or...
No, Cadet Corbett. We're neither Roger nor Astro. The spacesuits confuse you. But then that kind of confusion is quite normal in the type of melody.
Who are you, and how did you two get in here without setting off the alarm?
There was no alarm. The outer hatch was ajar.
Ajar? I told Roger to be careful.
Now, let's not get excited. Just relax, and everything will be all right.
Relax? Why, you...
Stop, or I'll fire. And drop that winch.
Oh, a parallel ray gun, huh?
We'd have to use it on you, but it's...
I know. You'd rather have one of your robots smash me to bits, wouldn't you? All right, you're 2-1, and you've got me. Now what?
Leslie, take off your helmet, will you? That should convince our young friend of something.
Don't bother. I wouldn't expect a dirty space crawler like you to... Great jumping Jupiter.
Hello, Cadet Corbett.
A girl in your collar and uniform.
Yes, I'm Leslie Everett of the Solar Guard Nurse Corps.
A nurse? But what in the universe?
And this is Dr. Ashton.
Commander Burke sent us here from Venus to help you.
But I don't get this. Where's the guard cruiser? The men, weapons?
There is no cruiser. A freighter dropped us off in a jet boat.
And as for weapons, well, we hardly need those, do we? Except for my little ray gun here. And that's just to calm down anyone who becomes too, excitable.
Well, now I understand why they acted so funny when they said help was coming. Everyone thought I was just raving with Zero-A fever.
Poor boy, it must have been terrible for you.
Yes, but things will be fine now. Dreadful as Zero-A is, the cure is not difficult. I've had a good deal of experience with space psychoses.
Forgive me, Doctor, but I don't care if you've had experience with space fever. We need fighting men here, not medics.
We mustn't be violent. Just relax.
All right, I'm sorry, Doc. It's not your fault, but please get this straight. I'm not crazy. It's all true. Everything I reported to Venus Station is true.
You mean huge flying robots and a group of killers operating them by remote control?
Yes.
Well, we won't argue about it. But now, if you'll just roll...
Great galaxy, what do I have to do to convince you?
Tom.
What's the matter, nurse?
Doctor, I'm afraid I've gone Zero-A, too.
That's ridiculous, Leslie.
Then look out the viewport there.
Flying monsters.
Those are robots.
And they're diving right at this ship.
We'll return to the exciting adventures of Tom Corbett, Space Cadet, in just a moment, so stand by.
Spaceman, you know Tom Corbett says Kellogg's Pep is the best cereal he ever tasted. And Astro says he eats more Pep than anybody else at Space Academy. But this is even better. You know, the other day I was out on the spaceport landing strip, and even Roger Manning was talking about Pep. Well, he's a pretty hard man to please.
You know, you get thinking out here on the landing strip. Takes a lot of power to send a ship blasting off into space. There goes the Hydra. In a way, people need the right fuel just like a rocket ship. If you want to blast off with lots of drive and action in the morning, you have to put away some energy food like Kellogg's Pep. Pep gives you a good supply of food energy. Vitamins, too, like vitamin B1 and D. Something you really need to help keep up strength and vitality. And Kellogg's Pep tastes good, too. It's got the kind of flavor that makes you want an extra bowlful. Say, I think I'll go down to the Academy Mess Hall and have some Pep right now. And any space monkey that gets in my way will think he's been hit with a flock of meteors. When I want my Pep, I get my Pep. You spacemen listening, smarten up and ask your mom for Kellogg's Pep. You'll like it.
Well, that's just what Roger said, and he's right, too. Open a package of Kellogg's Pep tomorrow morning and pour yourself a heaping bowlful. 1 spoonful of that malty rich goodness, and you'll say just like Roger Manning, the spaceman cereal is Kellogg's Pep. P-E-P. Pep.
After waiting impatiently for the help promised by the Solar Guard station on Venus, Tom Corbett has found they meant medical help, a doctor and nurse, instead of the men and weapons needed to safeguard the captured robots. As Tom tries to convince Dr. Ashton and Nurse Everett that he is sane and the robots really exist, they suddenly receive dramatic proof when 2 of the monsters appear and dive straight for the Polaris.
Those monsters, they're going to crash into the ship.
Great galaxy, Corbett. What can we do?
Nothing, but the Polaris should be tough enough to take it.
Suppose they hit up near the nose. They could topple us over.
Well, they might, so hang on. Wait. They're not going to ram us. They're landing near the tail.
Can they break into the ship?
Well, not for a while at least, but...
What's that?
What are they doing, Corbett?
What I was afraid of, attacking the vanes and rocket tubes.
Hey, Junior, how's everything in the ship?
Who's that on your radio?
It's Roger. Maybe he and Astro can help. Roger, listen. 2 new robots are attacking the ship.
Yeah, no fool.
Look, this is no joke. They're right here, and
Are you sure it's 2 new robots, Tom?
Well, of course I'm... Wait a minute. Where are you?
Oh, we're around. Cut it out, Roger. Tom, this is Astro. We're behind the rocks just east of the ship, and the robots...
Oh, I get it. They're the ones we captured. You found a way to work them.
That's right.
Oh, thank goodness.
And I thought we'd fly him to the ship without tipping you off first. Some joke, huh, Junior?
Yeah, some joke.
Hey, who was that?
That's Dr. Ashton, Roger. He and a nurse were sent here from Venus.
A nurse, huh? Well...
They came because Venus thought we'd gone 0A, and I guess maybe you have.
What's the idea of pulling a crazy stunt like this?
I was just giving you a little scare. I didn't know there was a girl aboard. Besides, there's no need to worry anymore. The killers are gone. They left long ago. We're the robot masters now. So get your spacesuits on. We'll give you all an exhibition of how we can control them. Oh, bring the doctor, too. And especially the nurse.
Goodness, aren't they the big, horrible-looking things?
You don't have to be afraid of the robots while I'm around, nurse. Wait till you see the tricks I can make them do.
The tricks we can make them do, hotshot.
Oh, yeah. Astro helps a little, too.
Oh, I'm sure he does.
A little. Listen, who traced the power connections and who Never was it? mind, Astro. Let him show off for the lady. We'll get through faster and get away from Mercury. We don't have to stay now that we can get the robots aboard.
Oh, right, Junior. Come on, Astro. We'll get set up. Okay. I'll be right back, nurse. Don't go away.
I won't.
You know, Corbett, thinking of the robots as machines, not as grotesque humans, they don't seem so ugly.
Well, I don't know.
Oh, Doctor, with 6 arms and those short, thick legs like a huge hippopotamus?
Well, they're functional. Legs like that can support tremendous weight, and they keep the center of gravity low.
And that's right. And the arms are fitted with heavy claws, Durasteel fingers, a drill, and look here, a sort of shovel.
Yes, I see, but you think all those things make them handsome?
Well, no, but they must have been wonderful miners.
Miners? You mean to dig?
Oh, yes, of course. You see, the men who operated them could stay at their base on the twilight zone here on Mercury
and send these things out to the hot side.
Right. Instead of going out themselves in diggers the way the Solar Alliance men had to do. What's more, I'm afraid they've already found what our men were looking for.
What was that, Cadet Corbett?
I don't know, Nurse. You see, the project was top secret.
Hey, everybody, we're ready. Watch this now. Presenting the newest ballroom team, Robert and Roberta Robot.
What in the world? Oh, why, those hideous monsters are dancing.
Perfectly ridiculous. Careful now. Keep them away.
Hey, that's right. Watch it. If they fall on us... Oh, don't worry. They won't. We've got this down to a science. Well, maybe you have at that. The controls aren't too complicated. True genius, my boy, is often simple. Get him.
Isn't it wonderful?
I am. Aren't I?
Surely those tiny hand transmitters of yours can't furnish power for such huge machines.
Oh, they have their own power supply, Doctor. The radio signal just activates it.
Right. Now watch this. Ready, Astro?
Ready.
Up they go!
They're climbing into the sky.
Roger, what's happening? They're not responding to the controls.
Uh-oh. Look, they're coming down again. Toward us. Stop them. Stop them.
Good heavens, do something.
We can't. Someone must have taken over with stronger transmitters. The killers. They're still on Mercury.
Look, the robots are diving at us.
Get her. Make for the Polaris. Run! We made it. Come on, close the hatch. Just in time. One of them nearly got me if it hadn't been for the light gravity. Hey, wait. There's only 4 here. Someone's missing. The doctor.
No, I'm here. You dragged me in. But where's Leslie?
Great Jupiter. I thought you were Leslie. So did I when I saw you grab him. But she's still out there with those robots.
She must have dodged between the rocks.
Open the hatch again. Hurry. See anything? Look, the robots. In the air. They're flying away. Yeah, one of them's carrying something in its arms. Great galaxy. It's the nurse. Leslie, they've got her. Oh, no. Astro, get the rockets blasting. We're going after them.
Control deck to power deck. Reduce speed, 1/4, Astro.
Reduce speed, Tom.
Right, hurry.
Okay, reducing speed.
Corbett, what's the matter with you? Don't you want to catch them?
Not yet. Look, Junior, have you gone space happy? No, we'll have to wait till they land.
But why? Why? Go after them now, man.
Then what? How do we knock off the robots in flight without killing the nurse? He's right, Doc.
Good heavens, I hadn't thought. Can't you force them down somehow?
Impossible. Can you think of anything, Roger? No, unless maybe...
Calling the Polaris. Calling the Polaris. Come in, Polaris.
Who's that? This is the Polaris. Who are you?
Never mind, sir. It's enough for you to know we've regained control of our robots. Your nurse's life is now in your hands. Give up. Surrender now, or you die before your eyes.
Great galaxy. Rummy space rats.
Tell them we'll surrender, Corbett. We have no choice. We can't let Leslie be killed.
Of course not, but... Well, this maybe is a bluff. No, Tom, he's not bluffing about Leslie. They'll kill her.
Yes, they'll kill her. Look at her held in the steel claws.
We've got to do something, Tom, and fast. Wait, I've got a brainstorm that might work. What is it, Tom?
Well, Polaris, you've taken long enough. What's your answer?
Here, Roger, talk to them, but stall as long as you can. How can we be sure you only want to capture us, that you're telling the truth?
You're trying to waste time. There'll be no more of that. Look at the robot. Unless you surrender now, watch how it drops the girl.
Well, wait, just a minute.
Stalling. Okay, Vincent, let her fall.
No, wait. It's all right, Roger. Astro and I fixed it.
Look, she's still safe.
What's the matter? Why doesn't the robot... Why, those blasted cadets...
Tom, what did you do?
We took control of the robot with our main transmitter at full power. They can't drop her now.
Thank heaven.
Pretty smart thinking, Tom. Look, I'm going to land the robot. Follow it down.
Right. Stand by, Astro. Standing by.
If you think your little trick is going to save the girl, you're wrong, my friend. You can't steal control of the other robot. We'll do the job with that.
Oh, no.
Is he telling the truth?
I'm afraid he is.
Yes, we only have one transmitter set up.
And the second robot's going down, too. Roger. Get the one with Leslie off the ground again, fast. I am, but the other one has the edge and speed now. You've got to do something.
Can't you clip the antenna off the way you did with the jet boat?
No, Astro. The Polaris is too big and fast, and if we missed one try, we wouldn't have time for another.
Just plow into it then. Knock it down.
We can't do that, Doctor. It's too near the ground. We'd crash, too.
But, Tom, the way you're diving at it now, we're sure to crash anyhow.
No, I'm going to pull up hard at the last minute. Roger, stand by to send Leslie's robot off at an angle. Okay, now. Here goes. Good. Now I'm going to pull out of the dive. Brace yourselves.
What good did that do, Corbett? You pulled up when we were still 100 feet from the robot.
That's right, Doctor, but when we went up, the jets and the tail swept right over
Well, that they did, Tom, and even those robots weren't built to withstand a blast of white-hot heat like that. Look, it's going down out of control.
By Jupiter, you're right.
Fast thinking, Tom. Now I can land the one that's carrying Nurse Leslie, and then we can get her aboard.
Right. Yes, she'll be safe now, and so will we.
Okay, Polaris, you won that round and destroyed one of our robots. I promise you we'll win the next round, and that will be the last, because now you'll be destroyed.
Leslie, are you sure you're all right?
Well, I think I will be, Doctor, as soon as I can realize I'm really safe again. It's still a little hard to believe, you know.
I should think so, Nurse, after what you went through. We should be shot for letting him catch you in the first place.
Oh, no. It wasn't your fault. You were all wonderful.
Well, yeah, the others were pretty helpful. I would have had much more trouble saving you alone.
Why, you bubblehead.
Easy, Astro. Is there anything we can do to make her more comfortable, Doctor?
No. I'll take care of her, Corbett. You boys had better get that robot aboard, since you feel you can't leave it behind.
Oh, why can't we? I want the Solar Alliance to have it, not the killers. Astro, get down to the power deck, will you? Stand by to blast off.
Okay, Tom. I'll be ready when you are.
Roger, get on the controls of the robot. I'll open the hatch.
Tom, look. There's a ship almost over us.
Great Galaxy, they found us already.
Who is that?
The same men who tried to kill me?
Yes, they said they'd destroy us all.
And you waited, Cadet, because we have a little present for you. And here it is.
They're firing an atomic warhead.
Hold everybody down! Are you all okay?
Yeah. You all right, Leslie?
Yeah, but that was so close.
We're lucky it wasn't closer.
We have to get off the ground, Corbett, quickly.
We sure do. Control the power deck. Blast off, Astro, now.
I can't, Tom. The power tubes are damaged. I'm afraid we're stuck here for good.
We'll return to the exciting adventures of Tom Corbett, Space Cadet, in just a moment. So stand by. Spaceman, you've been with Tom Corbett on flights through space. You've been with him on Mars and Venus. You've seen him in action at Space Academy, too. Well, now you can get Tom Corbett's picture on a magic moving picture eye. The magic eye is a plastic disc with Tom's picture in it. When you tilt it back and forth, the picture inside shows you exciting action. And besides Tom Corbett, there are other action pictures, too. One magic eye shows Bobby Riggs, famous tennis star. Another shows a Douglas skyrocket jet plane. And you can get as many as 16 different magic eye subjects. Planes, movie stars, trains, sports stars. And listen to this. You don't have to write in to get a magic eye. No, sir. No box tops, no waiting, nothing extra to pay. You get a magic eye free at no extra cost every time you get a package of Kellogg's Pep. Now think of it. There's a magic eye waiting for you inside every package of Kellogg's Pep. Get some magic eyes right away. Sew them on your jacket or belt. They really look swell. And the more you get, the better. So let's get going, spacemen. Remember, there's a magic eye free at no extra cost in each and every package of the build-up wheat cereal, Kellogg's Pep. P-E-P. Pep.
After rescuing Nurse Leslie, Tom, Roger, and Astro moved swiftly to get the captured robot aboard and blast off from Mercury before the enraged killers could find them. But suddenly a ship appeared overhead and fired an atomic warhead which crippled the Polaris, making escape impossible. Now, as the killer ship turns to make another bomb run, there appears to be no way to stop the attack which their enemy has promised will blow them to space dust.
Isn't there anything we can do to avoid being hit again?
We must do something.
I don't see what... Yes, there's something. We can try it at least. The robot. Send it up, Roger.
Oh, what good will a robot do?
It isn't fast enough to catch a ship.
It doesn't have to. The ship is coming to us. The robot only has to intercept. Now, if it's still working...
It is working, Tom. There it goes.
Look, Junior, what do you expect?
No time to explain now, Roger. Just watch.
Look, they're going to crash. Tom's done it.
No, they're not. They're clear. They're passing above it.
That's just what I wanted. Now their firing rocket tube is exposed.
What? Oh, great Jupiter, if only you can do it.
Do what, for heaven's sake?
Steady, Tom. Steady. There, you've done it.
Look, Doctor. Their ship, it blew up.
But how could it? What happened? You tell him, Roger.
Well, Tom sent the robot smack into their firing tube. Their own warhead blasted them.
A brilliant maneuver. Brilliant. And now, Leslie, this time we're really safe. Thanks to the quick thinking and steady hand of Cadet Corbett.
You find any more of their gang in the wreckage, Tom?
Yes, 4 of them, Leslie, but all very dead.
The craters of Luna, I don't see how the leader ever came through alive. Neither can I.
Can we talk to him, Doctor?
Yes, go ahead. Aside from a few bruises, he's perfectly all right. Amazing luck.
I don't know, Doc. You live to stand trial. That's not so lucky.
Don't worry, you good citizens of the Solar Alliance. You'll never put me on trial.
Get him. Sounds as if he thinks he can escape.
Look here. Just what were you doing on Mercury? What were you using the robots for?
Mining what your stupid scientists were looking for on their top-secret project. Natural plutonium.
Natural plutonium? But that's very rare. Most of it is made artificially.
On Earth, yes, but we found it here. It meant cheap atomic power, wealth.
Good thing we stopped you. Guys like you don't deserve wealth. You don't know how to use power.
You can stow the speeches, Cadet. I'm not interested.
Hey, I wonder if this gang wasn't just part of a larger outfit.
If so, the Solar Guard will find it and take care of it. Well, we've nothing to do now until the release ship comes. So, let's relax.
Don't miss the next action-packed adventure with Tom Corbett, Space Cadet, when the cadets begin a dangerous masquerade and rocket into the atmosphere of death. Tune in, same time, same station on Tuesday for the next thrilling interplanetary adventure with Tom Corbett, Space Cadet. Brought to you by Kellogg's Pep, the Build-Up Wheat Cereal. Tom Corbett, Space Cadet, starring Frankie Thomas, can also be seen on television and appears in the comic sections of many of America's leading newspapers. Look for it daily and in weekend editions. Featured in today's cast were Jan Merlin, Al Markham, James Monks, and Connie Lemke. Today's program was written by Don Hughes, directed by Drex Hines. Jackson Beck speaking.
Kellogg's Raisin Bran has a secret. Kellogg's Raisin Bran has a secret.
And what a secret! In Kellogg's Raisin Bran, the tasty raisins are dipped in honeycomb. That means plumper, more tender raisins, along with delicious golden crisp bran flakes. Both fruit and cereal, all in one box. And no other raisin bran but Kellogg's gives you the tender goodness of raisins dipped in honeycomb. That's Kellogg's secret. So for your breakfast, make sure you get Kellogg's, because
Kellogg's Raisin Bran has a secret.
By the way, boys and girls, there's a swell story about Tom Corbett, the cadets, Captain Strong, Dr. Joan Dale, and Commander Arkwright in the new April issue of Radio Television Mirror magazine that just went on sale at your newsstand. You'll enjoy seeing pictures of all the cast at home in the Radio TV Mirror story.
This program has come to you from New
Tired of the everyday grind? Ever dream of a life of romantic adventure? Want to get away from it all? We offer you Escape.
Escape, designed to free you from the four walls of today for a half hour of high adventure.
You're on a ketch sailing the coral seas, snaking your way through the tricky channel toward an island of black pearls. While on the shore, waiting for you to land, is the man who has sworn your death, and from whom there is no escape.
Listen now as Escape brings you Robert Tallman's story, The King of Owanatu.
The island we were looking for was roughly 15 degrees north by 145 west. We sailed around it 3 times before we spotted the break in the reef. Hacker rowed us in on a tricky swell and snaked through the channel before the surf could hit back us.
There we are, all installed and ready for business. What's eating you, Remington?
I don't know. I get a funny feeling about this place.
Like what?
Coming through that reef, you notice anything special?
It was a cinch, like easing a barge through a canal lock, only a little faster, a little rougher.
Too easy.
I don't follow you, Skipper.
I mean, it's not a natural channel. Been scooped out of the rock.
What makes you think so?
You could see where the coral was chipped smooth on the sides.
This I want to see for myself. Skipper!
Yeah?
Skipper, come here!
All right. What's up, Hacker?
A break in the reef. The channel we just came through. It's not there anymore. It's disappeared. Look.
Yeah.
Couldn't be, Skipper. It just couldn't.
Couldn't, but it is. Solid wall. Break in the reef is closed.
How?
You said it was like easing a barge through a canal lock, didn't you?
You mean somebody, they got some kind of an underwater floodgate or something?
Or something. Maybe...
Hey, someone on the beach.
Ahoy! The boat!
Looks like we'll get some answers pretty soon.
Ahoy! The beach! What island is this? Stay aboard. I'm coming out.
He's a white man, all right.
Yeah, looks like he lives here, too.
Those natives look like Marquesans.
They don't belong to these islands. Neither does that outrigger.
I'm going below and break out the rifle.
Don't be stupid, Hacker. They're obviously not armed.
What do you say we should do?
Wait till we find out what it's all about. Let him do the talking. Whatever you do, don't mention the pearls. Our story is we're lost. We put in for water and supplies.
What if he asks to see the ship's papers?
We showed him.
If he asks what happened to the owner?
He decided to take the plane back from Tahiti. We're returning the boat to San Francisco for him.
Sounds good enough.
Yeah, just take it easy, Hacker. And use your head. As the outrigger approached our boat, I tried to size up our host. He was a big man, solidly built, but with a sharp, aquiline face. Didn't go with a build. He wore a beard, closely trimmed, and a white linen jacket over a dark shirt, open at the neck. When the canoe came alongside, he was on his feet and up our ladder in just 3 seconds flat.
Are you the captain of this vessel?
I'm the skipper. Remington is my name. This is my mate, Mr. Hacker.
And your crew?
We're it.
Excuse me, my name is Jerome. I am resident of this island. Welcome to Owanatu, gentlemen.
Thank you. You say that you're the resident?
Not in the usual governmental sense, Mr. Remington. But as I am the only person living here, I and my household, that is, I believe I can lay fair claim to the title.
Have you lived here long, Mr. Jerome?
Oh, now. Let us observe protocol, Mr. Remington. As resident, I ask the first questions. Oh, this craft must have set you back a pretty penny, eh, Mr. Remington?
It did the owner. I'm only sailing a home for him.
And home is?
San Francisco.
Magnificent city, I know it well. May I ask your employer's name?
Cates. Gerald Cates.
Cates, yes. I've heard the name. And, what was the name of this vessel before you changed it, Mr. Remington?
The Argo. Argo. Cates decided it was a bad luck name, so he changed it to the Luana.
And bad luck for you to get off course and wind up in this particular group of islands.
Oh, I don't know. What group is this, Mr. Jerome?
Tuamotu. The old seafarers used to call it the dangerous archipelago. But you're here, and a happy circumstance it is. I'm seldom blessed with visitors, as you may well imagine. I trust you gentlemen will do me the honor of dining with me this evening.
Oh, thanks. We'll be glad to.
And if there's anything I could do to make your stay here more comfortable...
You might explain about that reef, Mr. Jerome.
The reef? Oh, the floodgate in the channel. This island was a pirate base back in the days of the Spanish Main.
You trying to tell us that's been here a couple of 100 years and still in working order?
Oh, heavens, no. I've had it restored, of course, and a very expensive undertaking it was, but I find it an amusing toy. Now I must leave you and make preparations for our feast tonight. Dinner is at 7 sharp. Until 7, then. Au revoir, gentlemen. Brandy, gentlemen?
No, thanks.
I trust my humble board was worth coming ashore for.
What's the point, Mr. Jerome? Fattening us up for the kill?
Oh, dear, no, Mr. Hacker. I dare say some of my natives have tasted long pig in their time, but I have expressly forbidden it here.
How did you come to this island, Mr. Jerome?
I was looking for a refuge, Mr. Remington. A place where I could escape forever the insanities of this so-called civilized world.
Oh, I notice that you haven't deprived yourself of any of the civilized comforts, Mr. Jerome.
True. Mr. Hacker, you seem uncommonly silent. Oh, perhaps another dram of brandy will loosen your tongue.
I think I'll go for a walk, if you don't mind. Coming along, Skipper?
I'll finish my brandy.
Suit yourself. See you aboard.
Oh. You sure you don't feel the urge to go a-roaming, Mr. Remington?
Later, maybe.
Yes, you'll have plenty of time to explore the island. Plenty. Are you ready for coffee now?
Oh, why not?
Oh, you like our coffee? And an extra special surprise comes with it. Something I've been saving to the very last.
Oh, really, Mr. Jerome?
Not the dessert, Mr. Remington. A different sort of tidbit. Team out.
Yes, Mr. Jerome.
Tell Missy Michaela to fetch our coffee.
Yes, Mr. Jerome. Missy Michaela, Mr. Jerome said you'll bring coffee now.
All right, Pinhole. You needn't shout the house down.
Ah, dear girl. Prompt and obedient as always. Oh, set the tray here. I'll pour, my dear. Ah, pray be seated, my dear, and join us.
Yes, Father.
Now, what do you think of him, Michaela? Yes. And you, sir? Of course, or you wouldn't stare so. Michaela was not born on the island. Her mother died in childbirth, and I brought her here a babe in arms. She has no memory of the outside world. For a while, I toyed with the idea of sending her back to Europe to be educated, but I couldn't bear to be parted from her.
Nor I from him, Mr. Remington.
And then there is always the danger of war. She is safe here. Safe.
My father is always so concerned with my safety, Mr. Remington. Sometimes I wish there were a volcano on the island. I would climb right up to the crater and spit in it, just to give him something to really worry about. How did you find us, Mr. Remington?
Maybe I'm psychic, Mr. Jerome. Maybe I just smell that perfume you're wearing.
Oh, is it too much?
No. It's like you. It's fresh, at the same time, mysterious.
That sounds like my cue to totter off to bed. No, please don't get up. Take good care of our guest, Michaela, but don't keep him up too late. He's had a very strenuous voyage.
I promise to stay till she pitches me out, sir.
That's the spirit I like in a man. Good night, Remington. Good night, my dear.
Good night, Father. Now, Mr. Remington, tell me why I'm so mysterious. We shall start with names. You may call me Michaela. What shall I call you?
My first name is Charles.
That's no good. The natives will call you Missy Tarley.
At least that's better than Chuck.
Is that what they call you at home?
Home? I never had one.
You have one now.
I have?
Yes. Right here.
I'd love to believe that.
Well, you may be quite certain of it, Charles.
Why, Michaela?
Because Father will never let you leave the island. He never lets anyone leave.
You are listening to The King of Owanatu, tonight's presentation of Escape. Tomorrow night, the coast is clear for comedy with My Little Margie on CBS Radio. She's all set to put on a benefit show for a boys' club, but has to resort to humorous deception to win the cooperation of her father. All's well that ends well, and My Little Margie does very well tomorrow night on most of these stations. And now back to Escape and the second act of The King of Owanatu.
I'd come to the island looking for pearls. I'd found something else, and where I stood, it looked a lot better than pearls. When I said goodnight to Michaela, the sun was up. Hacker still hadn't come aboard. I guessed that he was sleeping off the effects of the moonlight and the native coconut wine. I stretched out on the deck, and the next thing I knew, the sun was straight overhead, and Hacker was prodding me with his foot.
Wake up, Skipper. I got news for you.
News? Oh, who needs it?
Maybe these will make you sit up and take notice.
Hey, what?
You're not dreaming, Skipper. Those are pearls. Black ones. The kids in the compound play marbles with them.
Pearls. Black pearls.
I thought that'd snap your attention.
Just thinking what a string of these would look like around the neck of a certain girl.
Where did you go last night?
Stayed right there on the veranda. Jerome served her with the coffee.
How come?
His daughter.
Boy, he's even more worried about us than I thought.
What's that supposed to mean?
Skipper, I had a talk with Jerome's head man last night, the Kanaka chief.
All right, so?
Well, in the first place, Jerome was practically fanatical about that daughter of his. As I watched, night and day.
Exception. He left her alone with me last night.
Don't be too sure of that.
Why should he have her watched?
Some of the natives are homesick for their own island. They're being kept here against their will.
All right, what's that got to do with Michaela?
Jerome's afraid they might grab her and hold her as a hostage for their freedom.
They know their way around these waters.
Yeah, they're good swimmers, too. But I doubt if they could make it to the Marquesas.
They could make it in a native boat.
He wouldn't let them build one. They tried to do it secretly, but they were always found out.
And what's his power over them?
Guns. Jerome has got an arsenal.
Why don't they break in and take over?
They tried that, too. Once.
What happened?
The lucky ones were shot dead on the spot.
The lucky ones?
Yeah. The others were tortured. Hung up over a fire and slowly toasted from the toes up.
Why? Why? Why would any man go to such extremes to hold on to a few native workers that could easily be replaced?
You're the one with a college education. You tell me.
He said something last night. His daughter, I mean. She said he never lets anybody leave the island.
She should know.
Thought she was kidding.
Some kid of that dog.
She's okay, Hacker.
You got it bad.
Yeah.
I wonder how she'll feel after we've knocked off her daddy.
What are you talking about?
About getting off this island. One thing I'm sure of, we'll never make it as long as Jerome is alive.
Well, there's one sure way to find out.
How's that?
Ask him, Hacker, my boy. Ask him.
Mr. Remington. You're just in time for tiffin. Will you join me in a drink first?
Look, let's skip the tiffin talk, Mr. Jerome. It's time we got down to a few essentials.
Indeed. Essentials such as you did not leave Mr. Cates in Tahiti. You were never in Tahiti. Neither a schooner named Iago nor a ketch named Luana ever anchored there. Your last port of call was in the Marquesas. You were quarantined there because the owner of your vessel had fallen ill. You abandoned your crew on the beach and sailed off in the dead of night. Nothing further was seen or heard of you till you arrived here yesterday afternoon. So you see, I'm not wholly without contact with the outside world.
Yeah, obviously.
I only want to know one thing. Did Mr. Cates die of natural causes, or did you and your friend help him along?
He was dead when we left Nukahiba.
So, you buried him on a beach somewhere and made off with the schooner.
Well, why not? He had no use for it.
Don't dissemble with me, sir. I know that your shipmate has been snooping about the island, making inquiries about the pearl beds. Somehow you heard about the pearls on this island, and you came here hoping to help yourself to a fortune. Now, isn't that true?
We took a chance. We can do it again.
Well, you can, but you won't.
Why not?
Because the moment you sail out of my lagoon, I shall radio every police, constabulary, and Coast Guard station from Australia to San Francisco, and you'll be hanged as murderers and mutineers.
All right, why? Why are you doing this to us?
Quite simply, I don't want you to leave the island.
Oh, why not? Why are you so determined to keep us here?
Many reasons, Mr. Remington. My daughter likes you. You're a man of courage and imagination, a man fit to carry on my line. I have no worries about you. Basically, you feel as I do.
Well, maybe so.
But what about Hacker? He's a stupid, greedy man.
All right. Let him clean out the pearls and go.
I was tempted to that for a moment, but no. The pearls are too valuable, too unusual. Questions would be asked. Sooner or later, Hacker's tongue would be loosened, whether by whiskey or by force. I should be overrun with unwelcome visitors, bringing disease and dissension, the twin banners of civilization.
Jerome, what will happen to him if he tries to leave?
If he tries it, Mr. Remington, he will find out. But I wouldn't advise it, which also goes for you. And now, tiffin, Mr. Remington?
Who's there?
Me, Skipper. Throw over the ladder.
Look, where you been all day?
Exploring.
Did you find anything?
Come in the cabin. I drew a rough sketch map of Jerome's setup.
All right, come on, let me see.
Turn up the lamp there, will you? Hey, here. Here's the lagoon where we're anchored. Out on the point here is the radio shed. Here's where the guns are kept.
What about the floodgate?
It's operated electrically. The switch is in Jerome's room right by his bed.
Well, what happens when you work at any noise?
No, but lights go on all over the place.
Michaela might do it for us.
She in this with us?
Oh, not yet.
What makes you think you can trust her?
I've got to.
What if she plays it on Daddy's team?
I told you. I'm not leaving here without her, no matter what.
That makes me patsy, doesn't it?
Look, the boat's all yours if you want to go it alone.
Oh, thanks.
All right. I'll help you just the same.
You don't act like you're too anxious to get away.
What makes you say that?
Panic me out of here and stick around to pick up the pearls for yourself. That's your idea, Skipper.
Oh, come on. How do I get out with the pearls if you take the boat?
Don't give me that. You know Jerome's got a boat anchored on the other side of the island.
This is the first I've heard of it.
How do you think they get their supplies here? By a helicopter?
Jerome told me he sent it to Tahiti to pick up some breadfruit trees.
Uh-huh.
Look, where's the anchorage on that shore?
There's a blind inlet there. Never spot it unless you know just where to look.
Well, why not take his boat? Save fiddling with the floodgate.
It's an old steam yacht. Smoke could give us away if we fired the boilers by daylight. By night, that inlet is too tricky to navigate.
All right. You just answered your own question.
With Jerome dead, there'd be no problem.
Look, there's to be no killing, Hacker. You mention it again, it's all off between us.
Okay, Skipper, we'll try it your way. If it doesn't work...
Hold it.
Somebody aboard.
Who's there?
Oh, it's I, Charles.
Kelly, you shouldn't have come here.
Don't you want to see me?
Of course I do. It's just
Well,
that...
Father doesn't know I'm here. He's been locked in his study for hours, talking with the head man.
What about? Did you hear what they were saying?
Well, I couldn't hear much, but Father was very angry with him.
Look, do you know what about Michaela? It's very important that we know.
He said that someone has seen him, the head man, that is, diving for pearls in the inlet.
You know anything about that, Hacker?
What if I did?
You agreed we had to make a choice between a clean getaway and the pearls. If Jerome has the slightest suspicion...
Okay, Skipper, it still goes.
You're sure of that?
You're the skipper, Skipper.
Okay. Break out a rifle. Get into that dinghy and row ashore. Grab that head man when he leaves Jerome and bring him aboard.
What for?
I want to know how much he's told Jerome.
Okay. But I won't need a rifle.
You've got a lot of trust in that Kanaka.
We got a lot in common. He wants to get away from this island, too.
Okay. Get moving.
See you, Skipper.
Charles, what's it all about? What does it mean?
Listen to me, please, Michaela. Look, I'm leaving the island.
I thought you loved me.
Will you let me finish? I want to take you with me.
Leave the island? Leave my father?
That's right.
You don't love me. If you loved me, you wouldn't ask that of me.
But that's why I want to take you away from here, because I do love you.
You want me to be killed with bombs and die of diseases?
Look, I wouldn't ask you to go with me if I did.
Charles, kiss me.
Michaela. Now do you believe me?
Oh, yes. Yes, I believe you.
All right, then it's settled.
But what about Father? What if he tries to stop me?
It's a chance we've got to take.
I'm afraid, Charles. It's funny. All my life he's talked about keeping me safe, and all I've ever really been afraid of is him.
Look, Michaela, you trust me, don't you? You're not afraid of me.
Oh, no. With you, I could never be afraid, even if bombs were falling all around us.
Then you'll help me. You'll help us get away.
Yes. Oh, yes, Charles.
Our getaway was planned for the following night. We'd chosen it because the natives were celebrating one of their feast days, which meant that most of Jerome's police force would be AWOL or drunk. Jerome himself was over in the native compound making like a white king among the savages. He was wearing a lei over his dinner jacket, enjoying the drummers.
Ah, Remington. You're just in time for the shark dance.
That's a bit of luck.
I suppose Mr. Hacker has gone to look for my headman.
I wouldn't know.
He'll be disappointed, I fear. Kauna is in the warrior's hut making ready for the shark dance.
I didn't know your headman was a dancer.
Oh, they're all dancers, dear boy, but Kauna is something special. In this he dances both the part of the shark and that of the fisherman who spears him.
You don't say.
Yes, I'm sorry Michaela had to miss it. She had a headache, poor girl, and had to remain in the bungalow.
I'm sorry to hear that.
Just as a precaution, however, I disconnected the wires to the power switch that controls the floodgates. Oh, what's the matter, dear boy? You look quite pale.
Okay, Jerome, okay, you've won this round. But you must know you can't keep us here forever.
We shall see about that. Here comes Kauna now. Now we shall see some dancing, my boy.
The only difference between the shark dance and the others I'd seen was the wicked-looking fish spear that Kauna kept brandishing as he went through his paces. Jerome's attention was riveted on the dancers, and someone touched my sleeve. It was Michaela.
Charles, the most terrible thing has happened. The floodgates.
I know. Your father just told me.
Well, how did he find out? Who told him?
Hacker. Who else?
Yes, but...
I should have known when we heard that headman of a diving for pearls.
I don't understand.
Look over there to the north.
Smoke.
Hacker's getting up steam for a getaway in the yacht. He spilled that plan to your father to divert his attention to our boat in the lagoon. Kauna's probably in it with him for his getaway plus a cut of the pearls.
Where's Kauna now?
Out there with the dancers, making like a shark.
What are we going to do?
Hacker can't get that yacht out without help, so we may as well watch the dancing for a while. What?
That isn't the shark dance he's doing.
What is it?
I don't know. It's Charles.
What is it? What's the matter?
Father, watch out! That spear! He's going to... Oh, Father! Charles, the spear's in his
Look,
head!
you stay here. You stay right here. He's dead, Michaela. I'm sorry. Look. Go back to the house. Wait for me. I won't be long.
Where are you going?
I'm going to tell Mr. Hacker that his sailing will be postponed indefinitely. I could have saved myself a hike across the island. Hackett didn't have a prayer of navigating that inlet without the headman's help, and Kahuna never made it to the North Shore. A couple of Jerome's gendarmes cut him down just outside the compound, just like they did the hacker on the boat. I found the pearls in the galley, cans labeled coffee, sugar, and flour. I picked out enough for a matching string from the Keller, and I dumped the rest back into the water. It was a crazy thing to do, but as I look back on it, maybe it wasn't so crazy after all. In a way, Jerome was right. It was a nice island. And the way things are going in the world, I might want to go back and settle down there myself someday. So, why spoil it?
Escape, produced and directed by David Friedkin and Morton Fine, has brought you The King of Owanatu, a story by Robert Tallman. Featured in the cast were Anthony Barrett, Clayton Post, and Joseph Kearns. Also heard were Sammy Hill and Jack Carroll. Your announcer, Bill Anders. The special music for Escape is composed and conducted by Leith Stevens. Next week.
You are somewhere in the Pacific, out of Leyte in the Philippines, charting a course of south by southeast, when out of the deep of the sea, a new volcano is born, and your ship is caught in the middle of it, from which there is no escape.
So listen next week when Escape brings you Vincent McHugh's story, The Boiling Sea. Stay tuned now for Night Watch, which follows immediately on most of these stations. America listens most to the CBS Radio Network.
Sweet Check, Rice Check, and Good Hot Wilson present Space Patrol! High adventure in the wild, vast reaches of space. Missions of daring in the name of interplanetary justice. Travel into the future with Buzz Torrey, Commander-in-Chief of the Space Patrol! In today's transcribed adventure, Buzz and Happy have landed on a small planetoid. At this moment, wearing their spacesuits, they're approaching the airlock of a prospector's cave, where a criminal is believed to be hiding.
Someone's firing at us. Give us direct. The airlock won't open. We're going to protection out here. Corbett, holding those weapons. We just keep firing till they get us.
We'll be back in just a moment with today's Space Patrol story, A Magic Space Picture. Hi, gang. It's nighttime here on the planet Terra. All is quiet. But in just a second, you'll hear news that'll rock this planet like an explosion. Watch out, here it comes. Yes, sir, the news is out, and here it is. Rice checks and wheat checks now come to you in a brand new package with a big picture of Commander Corey or Cadet Happy on the front. Gang, you can cut these pictures out and paste them in your scrapbook or pin them in your room or clubhouse. And listen, inside of these wonderful new packages of checks, you now get the Magic Space Patrol Space Picture. Here's how it works. There is the Magic Space Picture. Who is it? What is it? It's hard to tell. But when you look into the sky or at a wall, presto! That's where the magic comes in. You suddenly see a giant picture that looks like Buzz Corey himself, or a real flying saucer, or a real rocket ship. Now, gang, there's 24 of these pictures, all different, and you get one in every new package of checks. So start collecting the whole set of 24 today. Just look for the new packages of rice checks and wheat checks with Buzz Corey or Cadet Happy on the front and the Magic Space Pictures on the inside. And now, today's Space Patrol adventure, A Magic Space Pictures. Excitement is high at the Terra Spaceport today. Rumor has spread that Commander Corey himself is to blast off for a test flight in the XR-51, the new experimental rocket ship which has been under top security guard for weeks, while technicians installed secret equipment. In his central office at Space Patrol headquarters, Commander Corey is now making a last-minute check of charts and technical data as Cadet Happy bursts in.
Commander, somebody's made a terrible mistake. Oh, excuse me, sir.
That's all right, Happy. What's the problem?
Well, I just received special orders from the Technical Training Command.
Let me see them. You'll report to Recognition School for a special briefing course at 1100 hours Universal Start Time today.
No, I thought I'd better report the mistake to you right away, sir, so I wouldn't be marked AWL.
There's no mistake, Happy.
But, sir, I thought that...
You thought what?
Well, you are taking the experimental rocket ship up today, aren't you, sir?
Yes, in about an hour. Why?
Well, I figured you'd be meeting me, and well, if I have to be at Recognition School...
I put those orders through, Happy.
Then I don't make the test flight?
Not this one. I'm taking Lieutenant Jeff Fisher. He's been working on the project since it started. Anyway, the whole flight won't take more than an hour or two.
I see. Sorry I bothered you, sir.
In a few days, I'll be starting a whole series of flights in the XR-51. We're going to Recognition School, so you'll be able to help me.
Oh, well, that's different.
Here, look at this.
It's just a negative picture of the planet Saturn. Anybody'd recognize that.
It's a special kind of negative picture, Happy. Look at that tiny spot in the center. Keep gazing at it.
Yes, sir. I still don't see anything unusual.
Don't take your eyes off that center dot.
Well, if this is a sample of what the course is like, it's going to be a cinch.
All right, Happy, now look out the window at the sky. What do you see?
Nothing. Just... I must be going crazy.
What's the matter?
Why, Saturn's right out there in space, just the way it looks from a spaceship. You see it, sir?
I can't see it, because I haven't been looking at the Magic Space Picture.
I don't understand.
This is only one of 24 Magic Space Pictures you'll get in the basic training course, Happy. You're going to see a lot of images in space.
But how does it work?
You'll learn that at the school. Oh, look at the time. Got to run over to the spaceport now to check with one of the technicians. Well, good luck, Happy. See you when you get out of class.
Oh, Commander Corey, may I help you?
Oh, yes, Vanek. I just stopped in to see if Lieutenant Fisher picked up all the equipment we need for the test.
It's all in the ship, sir. I checked it myself.
Fine. I want every bit of extra image reactor equipment removed from this building and returned to the security lab. That includes diagrams, check sheets, everything. Is that clear?
Yes, Commander.
Good. Then I'll go over to the ship. I want full security measures observed. Tell your men that, Vanek.
All right, Commander. Good luck. Euro Vanica, Station 4, calling Station 6. Station 4, calling Station 6. Acknowledge with Code Y. Code Y received. Send 3 men in a surface truck to Station 4 to pick up some special equipment. Get it aboard my private spaceship before the security lab starts checking. I got Curry fooled. With a little luck, I can blast off for a penetrating...
Oh, what a day.
How'd you get along in class, Happy?
Okay, sir, I guess. But I can still see planets and spaceships and special equipment floating in space.
Oh, you'll get used to it.
They had us look at pictures, well, the way I did here in the office. Only we were in front of a sort of brainograph machine.
That's right. You've seen how our brainograph screen shows an image of a person's thoughts.
Yes, sir.
Well, our scientists have found a way to make those images send electric impulses to relays and motors and instruments.
Just the way our brain sends impulses through the nerves to the muscles.
Exactly. Only the image reactor is much faster. Ordinarily, when you think of an action you want to perform, your hand throws a switch or moves a control. With this new device, your thought throws the switch.
And the purpose of these magic space pictures is to train us to project the correct image at the right time.
That's right. After you've mastered the technique, Happy, you can maneuver the XR-51 from blast off to landing with your hands tied behind your back.
Wow. So that's the big secret of the XR-51.
There are a lot of bugs to get out of it before we can equip all Space Patrol ships with it, but we want to supply of trained pilots ready to take over.
Your private space phone, sir.
Space Patrol headquarters, Corey here. Oh, yes, Robbie. What? When was this discovered? I see. Space phone and all planets alarm. I'll blast off right away. Corey out. Come on, Happy, let's get to Terra 5.
What's wrong, sir?
Some of the image reactor equipment and the key designs have been stolen from the security lab.
How?
All we know is that a technician named Juro Vanek has disappeared. Major Robertson says Vanek blasted off from here about 20 minutes ago. Come on, Hap, we're going after him.
Juro Vanek's ship the patrol sighted, he could be going either to Mars or Jupiter.
But in the meantime, he could have changed vector and probably has.
Well, Commander, what could Vanek gain by stealing that equipment?
He may be planning to sell it, which would be pretty risky, but more likely he's working for someone who doesn't want to see the Space Patrol become too efficient.
Yeah. With those image reactors, our ship could outmaneuver anything in space.
Vanek has been with the project ever since it started. He's probably been waiting for months for a chance to make this great.
I hope we catch him right away. I don't want to miss any of that course.
If we don't catch him, the training program might as well be suspended. According to that last report from Major Robertson, Vanek got away with most of the reactor cells, the heart of the whole device.
Space Control Terra calling Commander Corey aboard Terra 5. Space Control Terra, Commander Corey.
Corey here. Go ahead, Space Control.
Commander, Space Patrol Ship T-523 reports an unidentified private cruiser heading for the planetoid belt. Patrol ship gave chase, but the cruiser got away.
You have the vector for the cruiser?
An approximate one, sir. 23 degrees, Sun-Mars orientation, 300,000 TUs outside the Mars orbit.
He's way off the Jupiter lane. Space Control, inform Major Robertson now proceed toward the planetoid belt in Sector J. Corey out. Well, Vanek isn't going to Jupiter.
Well, he can't hide out in the planetoids very long. They're just chunks of rock with no atmosphere and no food.
How about all the prospectors who live on the planetoid?
Well, even they have to make trips to the nearest planet 2 or 3 times a year for supplies. Vanek is probably just trying to throw off pursuit.
Well, we'll see.
Well, Juro, welcome to Planetoid 94.
Here, Barrett. Take some of this stuff. Let's get out of this area.
Why, you have got a load, haven't you? Here, I'll give you a hand.
Just set it down. And close it in the door.
Sure. Oh, you'll get out of that space suit, and I'll give you some nice hot Venus coffee. Oh, this business of being a Space Patrol agent must be tiring.
It is. I got to blast off again right away. But I will have some coffee.
Hey, that's, real interesting looking equipment there, Joe.
A special secret lock for the outer hatch to your cage.
A lock? Well, Joe, I never had a lock on the place at all. Well, you started coming and storing your Space Patrol stuff here. In fact, last time I went out, I nearly forgot the key.
Oh, with all this secret Space Patrol equipment here, it's got to be locked up. Suppose some enemy of the Space Patrol tried to steal it.
Didn't have that happen, of course.
And with this new lock, you don't need any key. You just think of a certain image, and the outer door opens.
I do what? Think of an image?
Yes. An image that only you and I know.
All right. That's too steep for old Clog Bear.
Not only that, but I got some special weapons I'm going to install on the rocks, all around your cage. They work on the same principle.
Weapons? What in the name of purple comets do I need weapons for?
Why, in case space bandits try to steal the Space Patrol equipment, I'll install a view scope outside. And if anybody lands on this planetoid, we just think of the certain image and a controlled weapon fire at the criminals.
You talk like you plan to stay here, Joe.
I will, after I get back from my next mission. But I'm going to install these weapons and the secret lock before I blast off.
Well,
This image business, that's worse than a key. Suppose I forget what the image is. Oh, good point. It ought to be something you couldn't forget. I got it. Your face. Oh. Just think of your own face. Think real hard, and the outer L door will open. I'll turn off the image reactor lights now and show you.
Juro Vanek must be in another part of the planetoid belt, sir. All we've seen in the viewscope are those chunks of rock. Hundreds of them. Happy, look at the viewscope to starboard. The spaceship. It was hidden by that planetoid. He must have seen us. He swerved toward Jupiter. He's really kicked down the power. Let's get him, Happy. We're gaining on him, sir. He'll crash into one of those planetoids if he isn't careful. Yeah, or we will. Hey, he's gonna... Wow, that was close. You see him veer away just in time? Yes. I'll say this for him. He's some pilot. Hey, where'd he go? Changed vector again. He's trying to keep a planetoid between him and us. I can't locate him, sir. We've lost him. Hey, what was that? The rear viewscope, look at. There he is. Circled around behind us. He's on our tail. He's firing cosmic torpedoes. Yeah, now we'll have to use evasive action. Brace yourself, Happy. That ought to throw him off. Wow, that was closer than ever. Vanek's nearly as quick as lightning at those controls. He is, Happy. Vanek's ship is equipped with an image reactor. Unless a miracle happens, his next shot will blast us to bits.
We'll return to Space Patrol in just a moment. Say, gang, here's big news. Big news. Remember that picture of Saturn, the one Commander Corey told Cadet Happy to look at? Remember what took place after Hap looked at it? Hap thought he saw the planet Saturn in the sky. Well, gang, how would you like to have some magic pictures that work just like that? Here's where you'll find them. Inside the new Rice Chex and Wheat Chex packages. The new packages with a picture of Buzz Corey or Cadet Happy on the front. Now, there's 24 of these magic space pictures, and they're all different. And you get one in every new package of Chex. Saturn, Commander Corey, Cadet Happy, rocket ships, these and 20 other fascinating pictures appear on the magic space pictures. You'll want all 24. Here's how they work. You stare at the mysterious picture. What is it? Who is it? You can't tell for sure. Not till you look at the sky or at a wall. That's when the magic goes to work. Floating in space is a giant picture that looks like a real rocket or a real planet. Man, oh man, it's lots of fun. So, gang, hurry. Get the new packages of Rice Chex and Wheat Chex with Buzz Corey or Cadet Happy on the front and the magic space pictures inside. And now back to Space Patrol and the magic space pictures. Space Patrol scientists have developed a spaceship control device that reacts directly to the pilot's butt commands. Juro Vanek, a disloyal Space Patrol technician, has stolen several of these image reactor units and hidden them in a prospector's cave on a small planetoid. The prospector, Cog Barrett, innocently believes he's assisting an honest Space Patrol agent. Buzz and Happy suddenly came upon Vanek's ship in the planetoid belt and gave chase. But Vanek, with his image reactor control, executed a series of rapid maneuvers that enabled him to attack Buzz and Happy from the rear with cosmic torpedoes. He's laying those torpedoes closer every time he fires. It's like he knows what we're going to do before we do it. Stand by to fire rear torpedoes. Stand by, sir. We can't use automatic aim and fire because these planetoids will confuse the selector. Fire when you get him in your sight. Oh, I missed him a mile. He swerved just as I fired. He certainly didn't miss us by much. I'll try again, sir. Hap, you can hit a big target easier than a small one. This time, aim at one of those planetoids just when Vanek passes near it. I get it, sir. What an idea. I'll hold the ship steady for a few seconds. It'll make us an easy target, but you'll have a chance to aim. Vanek's moving toward one now, sir. Here goes. Nice going, Hap. At least I hit the planetoid. You got Vanek's ship with some of the planetoid fragments. He's in trouble. Good shooting, Hap. It was just luck, sir. You'll circle back and pick him up. There's a chance he's alive. I'll board his ship. Get my spacesuit while I join airlock. Cadet Happy calling Commander Corey.
Go ahead, Happy.
Are you all right, sir?
I'm just entering Vanek's ship now. No sign of him so far. He's got an image reactor control, all right. Both in his rockets and torpedo fire control.
Yeah, the way he handled his ship, he must have been giving himself private lessons.
It looks like he got away.
Got away? Where could he have gone?
He probably jumped out in the spacesuit right after his ship was hit.
He could be hundreds of DUs from here by now.
I'm coming back, Happy. Notify Space Patrol Jupiter to pick up this
wrecked. We'll search for Bannock.
Euro Bannock calling for Karen on Planetoid 94. Bannock to Karen.
Hello, Euro. There's nobody on Planetoid 94. I'm not there.
Barrett. This is Frank Barrett.
Yeah, who'd you think it was?
Barrett, listen. I'm in trouble. You've got to help me.
Trouble? What happened?
I'm in a space drift in the Planetoid belt.
Now, what in the name of Jupiter's moons are you doing out there?
Don't ask questions, just listen. I was attacked by space bandits. They went after my ship and it was damaged. They don't know I got away. They got to find me and pick me up before they come back.
Space bandits? In the Planetoid belt?
Yes. Where are you?
In my ship. I'm heading for Planetoid 867. I'll pick you up, Euro.
Hurry, please. Here are my coordinates.
Just a second, I'll be with you. Here. Let me help you open that helmet face piece here. There you are, Joe.
Get back to the control truck. Let's get away from here quickly.
Sure.
Oh, thanks for picking me up.
Oh, that's all right. After all, it's the only neighborly thing to do. You all right, Joe?
Yeah, I'm okay. Now, let's see. You better take me to Mars.
To Mars?
Yeah, I'm going to have to pick up another ship and some special supplies. And I'll come back to Planetoid 94.
Well, I was going prospecting, but I guess the Space Patrol comes first.
I admire your attitude, Barrett. Drop me off at Lowell City, and then you can go prospecting. Remember one thing, though.
Yeah?
If anyone contacts you, remember you haven't seen me or my ship. Now get me to Mars as quickly as you can.
Wow, Juro really disappeared. I'll swear we've covered every cubic yard of space he could possibly be in. We must have miscalculated, Happy. Happy, look at that planetoid. Hey, there's a spaceship there. I'll head for it. You turn up the viewscope sensitivity control. Yes, sir. There's a man in a spacesuit near the ship, sir. See? Crawling up that hump of rock. Judging by the type of ship, he may be a prospector. When we land, we'll get the man aboard ship and see what we can find out. How do you do? As you probably know, we're space patrolmen. I'm Commander Corey.
Well, I'm glad to know you, Commander. I'm Rod Barrett.
I asked what you were doing on this planetoid.
Oh, doing a little prospecting. Thought I detected a deposit of tellurium over there. Anything wrong in that?
Not a thing. Have you seen any other spaceships in this area recently?
Why, no. No, I haven't. I don't have much company in the planetoid belt, you know.
You haven't seen anyone at all or picked up any signals from anyone?
No, Commander.
I see. So where do you live, Barrett?
On Planetoid 94. Got me a cozy cave with my own air supply equipment.
I see. Oh, thanks, Barrett. We won't keep you from your work any longer, but if you sight any ships, notify Space Patrol Mars or Jupiter, will you?
Oh, you bet, Commander. It's been nice chatting with you.
I hope you'll find that tellurium.
Thanks. So long.
Close the inner hatch, Happy.
Yes, sir.
Commander, did you see what I saw? The back of the spacesuit?
Yes, sir.
Fairly recent Space Patrol issue with the insignia almost rubbed out.
Well, what would a prospector be doing with Space Patrol equipment?
He might have stolen it. Still, he seems to be an honest old fellow. Let's blast off. We'll check on Barrett by spaceophone at both Mars and Jupiter Space Patrol headquarters. And if we find anything suspicious, we can pay a surprise visit.
Everything's in good shape back aft, Commander. I made a thorough instrument check on the power and air control.
Good. I just got a report from Mars headquarters on Barrett. He's got a clean record. But early this morning, his ship landed at Lowell City Spaceport. A man got out, and then Barrett blasted off again.
But he told us he hadn't seen anybody.
I'd like to know who that man was that Barrett dropped off on Mars. We're going to circle back to Planetoid 94 and find the answer to that question.
Howdy, Joe. Oh, what a trip I've had. When did you get back from Mars?
A couple of hours ago.
Hey, that's a dandy new ship you got.
Barrett, what are you doing in that spacesuit?
Why, I had to put it on to get to the cave from the ship. You know that.
But that's my suit. The one I was wearing when you picked me up in space.
So it is. Same size as mine. Oh, almost forgot. Some Space Patrol fellows landed on number 867 and asked me some questions.
What?
Oh, well, I didn't tell them anything. I said I hadn't seen anybody or any ships. You'd have been proud of me, Joe.
What did they want to know?
Oh, what I was doing. So I told them prospecting. Then when I told them I hadn't seen anybody, they blasted off. They were nice fellows. Commander Corey was the one I talked to.
Corey? And he saw you in the spacesuit.
Sure.
What's wrong with blundering fool?
Sure. What are you getting all upset about here?
Get out of the way. Let me turn on the fuse scope.
Look, Gerald, this is my home. I don't like being pushed around even by my friends.
Get away and shut up. Look at that. A spaceship. And it's headed for a landing right near the cave. See what you've done?
I haven't done anything. I don't see what you're so steamed up about.
You don't, eh? That's Commander Corey. You let him here. You bungling old fool.
Now, you see here. He's your commander. You can explain I was helping you there.
Shut up. Just wait till Corey gets out of that ship. I'll fix him. I'll blast him off that planetoid.
Sure. What are you talking about?
Those weapons. I rigged to cover the cave entrance from every angle.
You're no space patrolman.
You learn fast, Barrett. Get your hands off of me.
You're not going to harm the commander. I won't let you.
Oh, let go. Oh. Now, keep out of my way. After I get Corey, I'll finish with you. And don't try anything else if you value your...
Have your ray gun ready, Hap. I'll see if I can open the cave airlock. Yes, sir. Hey, where did that come from? Someone's firing at us. Hey, that one came from the other direction. Quick, they run for the cave. They're getting closer. One chunk of rock nearly hit me. The airlock won't open. Whoever's controlling those weapons can keep on firing till they get us. We've no protection out here. We're trapped. Hap, there's an image reactor unit here.
And Jurovanic's inside.
Yes, watching us through a view scope.
If we only knew what image would unlock this hack.
He's got us bracketed now, Hap. You don't get in the cave, the next one will get us sure.
Who's that?
Someone's on our suit spacephone frequency.
This is Frog Barrett. Think of me. What's he talking about? Hey, Barrett, what do you mean?
Happy, he's telling us how to open the airlock. Think of what Barrett looks like. Think hard.
Oh, gee, I only saw him once. I don't remember, except that he had a beard.
Let me in front of that reactor, Happy. See? Gray beard, blue eyes, space tan face.
It worked. The airlock's open.
Get in quickly. Who's it behind you? Hurry.
Let's close.
Through the inner door.
They were right in the line of fire when I...
Corey. That's right, Bannock. Drop that ray gun.
Stand back, Corey. Hey, nice going, Commander.
Bannock, you don't seem to do so well when you have to depend on your own reactions. All right, get up.
Commander, you made it.
Yes, Barrett, thanks to you.
I tried to stop him from firing at you.
Thanks, Barrett. We'll take care of you from now on, Bannock. Get up.
Okay. How did you get into the cave, Corey?
Barrett spaceophoned us the right image to use.
You worked the image reactor after seeing Barrett only once?
That's right, Bannock. I wouldn't expect you to know this, but a person can get in most anywhere with an honest face.
That's my commander.
An action preview of next week's exciting Space Patrol adventure in just a moment. But first...
Commander, look at how fast that boy is running.
That's the fastest running I ever saw.
That boy's running to the grocery store, Commander. He just heard the big news.
You mean the big news that rice checks and wheat checks now have a brand new package with a big picture of the commander and me on the front?
Yes, sir. Plus the news that inside of each of these brand new packages, you now get a magic space picture.
Hope you'll follow that boy to the grocery store, gang. I'm mighty proud of those new packages of checks with my picture on the front. Hope you'll cut my picture out and paste it in your scrapbook.
And hey, gang, you can also get rice checks and wheat checks now with my picture on the front. You can cut out my picture, too, and hang it in your room or clubhouse. That sure would make me happy.
Don't forget, inside every one of those new packages of checks, there's a magic space picture.
You stare at them, look in the sky, and wowee, you see a big rocket ship floating in space, or a speeding jet car, or whatever the subject of your magic space picture happens to be. There's 24 of them all together, and they're all different.
And you get one in every new package of checks. So start collecting the whole set of 24 magic space pictures today.
Just bring home the new packages of rice checks and wheat checks with Buzz Corey or Cadet Happy on the front and the magic space pictures inside. And now, an action preview of next week's exciting Space Patrol adventure. Buzz and Happy are in a magnetic tunnel car. A tunnel car in a mine shaft deep below the surface of the planet Venus. As they rise toward ground level, Happy prepares the weapons they hope will enable them to rescue Tonga from two criminals.
Hey, what was that? Explosion. Scratcher has blown up the entrance to the tunnel. We're sealed in. Oh, brace yourself. Our tunnel car is going to crash right into the debris.
Be sure to be with us next Saturday for the exciting story, The Caverns of Venus, when wheat checks, rice checks, and good hot Ralston again bring you Space Patrol! Space Patrol, an original Mike Moser production starring Ed Kemmer as Commander Corey and Lynn Osborne as Cadet Happy, was written by Lou Houston and directed by Larry Robertson. Other players were Norman Jolly and Bela Kovach. Dick Tufel speaking. Now, don't forget to tune in next Saturday and every Saturday when wheat checks, rice checks, and good hot Ralston again present the new exciting Space Patrol! And be sure to see another exciting Space Patrol program on your local ABC TV station. Consult your newspaper for time and channel. Mothers, an invitation from your grocer. See his special peach coronation salad display, 1953's most beautiful salad. Canned cling peaches from California, creamy cottage cheese, served with rye crisp. Space Patrol came to you transcribed from Hollywood. This is ABC Radio Network.